All right, so we're about to get flat.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah, but once you go flat, you can't go back. All right, so we're about to turn it up another notch. What up, Vinny?
Oh, hold on, my camera's not on.
There he goes. There he goes. Look who back. Dave Weiss.
Y'all niggas gotta go.
Yeah, let's go.
And this is Karen B, who's here to help me when I'm stumbling. And
you brought some female energy back up with you this time, huh? You brought the whole backup squad now, huh?
But listen very carefully.
You brought the disciples.
All right, yo, let's calm down.
Karen, put your earmuffs on. Don't listen to this. Karen has a phobia. If anybody mentions spheres, that they're the perfect shape, she's going to freak out. So don't mention spheres. Okay.
No spheres. Got it.
No spheres. No talk about
spheres.
The sphere is not always perfect anyway. A sphere is not always perfect.
Must have been watching me then. That's why you said that.
A sphere is not always perfect, so I can understand where she's coming from. We can get into a little bit of that.
Karen, is your mic on? I can't hear you.
Yes, it is. Can you hear me?
There you are.
Yes.
Yeah, you sound good. Thanks.
All right.
All right. Hello. How you doing?
How you doing? How y'all doing? How you doing, Vin?
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Podcraft. We're about to take off. Okay, Dave. Hold on, bro. Stop talking over me like that, man. Yeah. Yo, listen. Welcome back to the Podcraft, and let's get it on. I mean, let us know what's going on, and how you been, man? Where you been?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, I've been catching you a little bit here and there. Vinny's been keeping me up to date with what you guys are up to, and I saw you've been talking non-flat Earth, a little bit of flat Earth in there. Where are you guys? Let's not start at the beginning. Now, Killah, imagine nobody's sitting next to you.
Right.
Okay? No one's judging you.
Right.
Okay? It's just me and you.
I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah. Is the Earth flat or is it a sphere? Oops. Is it a spinning ball in space?
All right. Where I'm at right now is it's hard to prove that it's not flat. It's hard to disprove that the Earth is not flat. Doing so, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm gonna just bring it to that realm. And doing so, it's like we got ways of breaking things down, but at the end of the day, you always got something else behind it. So that's where I'm at right now.
So I'm going to give you just a quick little example here, and then maybe Karen can add something. So in the helio-nonsensical bullshit model, we're a ball spinning around. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. You guys are aware of this. We're orbiting the sun, speeding up and slowing down in a elliptical motion at 66,600 miles an hour, a very funny number. We're chasing the sun at almost 500,000 miles per hour. And so just to put that in perspective, this is the hypersonic track sled. Now watch it. It's a rocket sled. It's going to go by a Mach 8.6. I'll show it again. Okay, you can't even see it. And you have to believe that we are orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that. I don't know what happened to my camera. Don't look at me. Look at the sled. We're orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that, right? Does that make any sense to you? And then we're chasing the sun at 100 times faster than that. This is where your brain should just melt because you can't process those speeds. But when we go out in nature, we see things like this. This is impossible on anything that's moving in any way, shape, or form, any little bit. It makes absolutely no sense. What is going on my camera here? There we go.
He's trying to say that. Are you saying that image right there is? Are you trying to use that as a primary and say that shows that the Earth is flat? Because that's really
I'm
just
showing
a
you that the Earth isn't moving. That the Earth isn't moving because Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of scientism, he says because of the spin of the Earth, the water bulges at the equator 14 miles high. Right? Because of that. Now that makes sense. If we could live on a spinning ball. Well, if it's bulging there, how come it's not sloshing here? When we're speeding up and slowing down in 4 different directions at once, how come this water isn't moving at all? All right. This shows you, if you use your common sense and ignore the nonsense, that this is a stationary plane. Hills and valleys, mountains and and trenches, but the Earth is a level playing field. A level playing field.
Y'all don't believe in gravity. So
gravity is another thing, and we can talk about gravity. You want to talk about gravity? Because that's one of my favorite.
That's what holds all things together. I mean, y'all have to prove that law doesn't exist. Y'all have to prove that. But go ahead. You have the floor. Go ahead.
Karen, you want to start off with gravity?
Well, gravity, we don't say that gravity doesn't exist. We just say that it's not what they say it is. But even if you look at what they say it is, they don't really know what it is. They can't decide if it's mass attracting mass or if it's bendy space-time.
Mm-hmm. Which is all theoretical nonsense. So let's talk about mass attracting mass. Now, we're taught that the sun, there was a big bang. Nothing exploded, became everything. That's a cool story. And then all of the rocks turned into planets, and all of the gases turned into bigger balls, okay? And they left a vacuum in between. That's also impossible when, that's a whole nother show, just talking about a vacuum with gas balls floating in it. Makes absolutely no sense. So now we got the sun, and many miles away is a little rocky planet, and then there's another planet, and then there's another planet, and then there's a big gassy planet, and then there's a ring planet, and it goes on and on and on, and the sun is able to hold on to all of them. And then those little planets have their own gravity, and they can hold on to their own moons, right? But the sun ignores the moons. This is idiocy beyond. I mean, I have a hard time saying it without laughing. Okay, so there's a thing called the three-body problem. And that's where scientists with the best supercomputers, the best programmers, they create an environment. They say, okay, we've got a star, a sun, whatever. It's this much mass, and we got a little planet, and it puts it in orbit into this simulation, and it works beautifully. And they can figure out where it's going to be, what position it's going to be tomorrow, next year, in 100 years. It works perfectly. Then they add a third body, one other body, another planet or moon. One's orbiting the sun or orbiting the little planet, and the entire thing goes into chaos mode, and they can't figure out what's going to happen next. But somehow, we can tell you where the planets are going to be, where the sun and the moon are going to be, where eclipses are going to be. We can tell you where everything's going to be. They all line up, and all of their gravity lining up doesn't nudge anything out of place. You go out tonight, look at the stars. Next year, same night, same time, stars are in the exact same place. But meanwhile, we're 4.4 billion miles farther away. So the whole idea of gravity proves the helio-nonsensical bullshit model is crap.
Okay. Yep, we got a super chat already here from Stefan. He says, how can a bridge be over 500,000 feet in length and not show a curve?
Absolutely. If you look at what's the bridge, Karen? The Lake Pontchartrain Bridge, and then there's the Chinese bridge that's is it 100 miles long, and there's no curvature whatsoever, and the curvature at 100 miles is 6,600 feet.
Yeah, supposedly.
Yeah.
We got another one here from True Seeker 22. He says, peace, greetings all. If you view Toronto from across Lake Ontario, 30 miles, you can't see the bottom third of the CN Tower, 1,800 feet. Why? Is it curvature? You can't see the Rogers Center, 282 feet. Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah, the answer for that is there's a couple things going on. It's perspective. This bridge doesn't go over the curve. It just converges into the horizon. So when you're looking into the distance, I have this great picture that I want to show, and I just don't remember where it is. When you're looking into the distance, everything converges into the horizon. It just goes and it converges. And then if you have little tiny waves, medium waves, any kind of waves that are in the foreground, those waves will block out an entire city line. It's depending on the size. If they're a millimeter above your head, just like my finger can't block half of my face unless my finger is closer to the observer, and then it can block half of my face. And you can't see that. You have a horizon line that you think is the curvature of the Earth because of brainwashing, but it's not.
How is it brainwashing though?
Well, it's because we're told that, by Bill Nye, the Lion Guy with the bow tie, that if a boat goes over the ball, it'll disappear from the bottom up. And he's 100% right if we lived on a ball. But there's other things that happen on a flat Earth. Karen, go ahead. Let me pull up an image and you can add to that.
Yeah. What were you talking about? How things...
Talking about perspective and how things get pushed into the horizon, how boats disappear from the bottom up.
Yeah,
but
well,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. If you have a question, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that when I look at it, when I look at the Earth, I never looked at the Earth as being flat or round. It's a rock, and all scientists and geologists know this, right? If we were to examine the ocean floor, the bottom of the ocean, it's not smooth. It's not perpendicular. There's craters and lumps and even canyons and mountains. So hold on, let me finish what I'm saying. Okay. To say that the Earth is totally flat, it's kind of that's absurd, yo. I'm just trying to make my point.
But you got to chill though. You ain't
I'm trying to make my point.
Disrespecting people. Go ahead.
I mean,
No, it's okay. Well, I was going to say with the oceans, there's actually a great proof of a flat Earth in the oceans. There's something called the abyssal plains. And if you look under the greatest parts right in between the continents, there's something called the abyssal plains, and it's the longest, flattest surface that they've ever measured is under the ocean. So it's not always lumpy and full of craters and stuff.
I think it's 70% of the ocean is abyssal plain, and it's flat for, as far as you can go. You can have 2 submarines on the bottom of the ocean. They send out sonar, which goes in a straight line, hits something, and bounces back, and they can see each other 100 miles away. There should be a mountain over a mile tall in between them. But you'd have to believe that sonar goes over the mountain, hits the other submarine, and then comes back. That doesn't happen. That's provable nonsense. So the fact that a submarine on the bottom of the ocean can see another submarine 100 miles away proves that there is no curvature down there. Also, a boat on the surface can see another boat, can target it with a laser over 100 miles away. There should be a hump of water over a mile high in between them, but there's not.
Let me ask you a question.
We can see too far. We can see too far.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
From Beverly Hills, can you see over the Sepulveda Pass?
So from Beverly Hills, wait, where do you want to say?
Say from Beverly Hills, can you see over the Sepulveda Pass?
Well, because the reason you can't see it forever is because there's particles in the air. The air is thick; it's dense.
No. The reason why I said that from Beverly Hills you can't see over the Sepulveda Pass is because what's in the way?
Trees and buildings.
I'm not familiar with that area.
A hill is in the way.
I'm not familiar with it either.
A hill is in the way, so you can't see over the Sepulveda Pass because the hill's in the way. Just like
absolutely anything that's over your eye line will block you.
Let me finish speaking. Yeah. So being that you can't even see over that hill, what makes you think all of the curvature that you see on this planet as far as mountains and valleys and uneven terrain and things of that nature, what makes you think that you're going to be able to see curvature in the earth?
Yeah, well, we're looking over water. That's why we use water, because water, large bodies of water at rest are level. That's the definition. Sea level, not sea curve. Airplane, not air curve, right? The water is level, so we do it over frozen lakes. Karen did an experiment in where was it? What lake was that?
It was Lake Balaton in Hungary.
They went to Lake Balaton in Hungary, did laser experiments, and we could see the source of the laser where there should be, hundreds of feet of curvature. I'm not sure what the distance was, but
okay. So
there were 7 different measurements, but yeah, each one of them was the camera was never more than 1 or 2 meters over the lake, and the laser was across the lake, never more than 1 meter, 1 to 2 meters above the lake, about the height of an average man. And we did several different measurements: 12 meters, 21 meters, 42 meters. I think it's up to something like 21 miles where we could see the source of the laser over the water which should have been hidden. I forget how much curvature it is. I have to pull up the document, but definitely should have been hidden by curvature.
Here's a picture that a lot of Globers like to use. They say the bottom few floors of this building are missing. And this is the camera P900 or P1000 zoomed in. If you zoom out, the entire building disappears. But if you zoom in, the building is here, compressed. You zoom in, you can see the building. But the bottom floors are missing. They say that's curvature. But if you look, this is an atmospheric trick. All of these balconies are the same height. But if you can see, they're getting compressed. This one is almost half of what that one is. And they get more. And right here, there's if you zoom in, there's 3 of them here. And it's all just a compression. Because when you're looking across the atmosphere, you're looking through the thickest part of the atmosphere, right? It's like when you're looking through a pane of glass. No problem. Put 10 panes of glass in there. Well, it gets denser and denser. 100 panes, you can't even see a light on the other end of it, right? So when you're looking through our atmosphere across, things get all wacky in a really short distance, and that's one of the reasons. Another part of the reason. Then the other thing is, if you look, here's a famous shot. This is in France. Out here is Mount Canigou, and it's 175 miles away. And from this height at that distance, the top of Mount Canigou, according to actual globe math, the top should be a mile below the horizon. So now you would think that this is the horizon if you're a globe believer, but this is what's called an apparent horizon. A globe requires a physical horizon, okay? A flat Earth has an apparent horizon. So twice a year, when the sun's on its migratory path in between the 2 tropics, it lines up with Mount Canigou, and as it moves beyond it, all of a sudden you can see the mountain. And right here, the top of the mountain, that should be a mile below the curvature, but it's not. It's right there. And it's not a mirage. It's actually there. But the reason you couldn't see it before is because the light that was bouncing off of it wasn't strong enough to go to your eyes. But the sunlight direct is strong enough to push through that thickness of the atmosphere, and it blocks it out. Look, this is not a mirage. It's there. But if the sun wasn't there, you could not see this mountain.
And the last time you came up here, you told us that you couldn't explain to us what a lunar eclipse was. Can you explain that now?
Sure. Well, so I can explain to you what it isn't. So on the flat Earth, the sun and the moon. I heard you guys
I'm not talking about what it is, and I'm talking about, can you explain what it is?
Well, let's talk about what it isn't.
Oh, okay.
And there's a difference between a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. You know the difference? The solar eclipse is when the moon blocks our view of the sun, and then according to heliocentrism, and the lunar eclipse is when the Earth's shadow goes onto the moon, so it's blocking the view. Just putting a shadow on the moon. There's a eclipse called the Seleninian eclipse, where the observer can see the sun and the moon above the horizon at the same time when the eclipse already starts. That doesn't really work in a heliocentric model. And the other thing is the curve of the Earth.
Hold on. You got to stop there. So you saying that the sun, when you're seeing a lunar eclipse, right, is the moon below the sun or is it above the sun?
Well, I heard you guys say in a previous podcast that the sun was 5,000 miles away and the moon is 3,000 miles away.
No, we don't know how. Somebody said that.
Somebody said that. Yeah. I'm just going to say that we don't claim the sun or the moon to be any distance. If you ask me, I think it's a hell of a lot closer than 3,000 miles. But we don't know, because if you don't know the actual distance or size of something, you can't tell where it is.
Oh, so you're saying that you don't know?
Absolutely, and neither do you. Because the whole idea that the sun, so here in the heliocentric model, in this beehive, heliocentric universe, the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon and 400 times farther. So therefore, they look like they're the same size. And then the odds of that are slim, almost beyond zero, the lower than zero, whatever. And then the odds of them lining up perfectly are astronomically insane.
How is that?
Idea of that, hold on, because if you look at all of the specs of the heliocentric model, the idea that those would line up perfectly and they'd be able to predict it, that's insane.
How
but the
is that
idea
insane?
that it would happen, hold on a second. The idea that it would happen again is like it's like winning the Powerball 500 times in a row. Okay, with just random numbers. But the thing is, it happens every year, and then after 18 years, the cycle repeats itself. Does that sound like a beehive universe, or does that sound like a perfectly designed clock? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, can you guys hear me? Dave, can you hear me?
Yeah, Vinny, what's up?
I wanted to jump in and actually say something to Razul and bring up the point that I feel that I could do is everybody's talking about like the heliocentric model. Well, the heliocentric model was started by Copernicus 500 years ago. And this is again where I talk about Razul and the people that are believing in the heliocentric, the ball model, in Big Bang, in evolution. This isn't created by scientists. This was created by the Vatican and Jesuit priests.
First of all, First of all, man, I don't. First of all, I don't even subscribe with any of that.
Well,
and when I deal with astrophysicists,
all right, hold on, one at a time. One at a time. Let's do the piece.
You mentioned my name, so
yeah. Well, Razul, you mentioned
I don't subscribe to that.
Gravity, from your scientists, your Jesuit scientists created it, and it's called a theory, and they have no proof. So what you and a lot of people are doing are actually saying that you believe in science, but science is actually created by the Jesuits, who you should all know by now are not your friends.
Scientists wasn't created by no daggone Jesuits, yo. Scientists, you trying to put the
hold on. So explain to us who created scientists.
The science, you have Eurocentric science, yo. I don't subscribe to that. I subscribe to African spirituality and African science. I can trace those scientists that the people from the Copernican. No, hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. I can trace that science back to Africa, brother, that existed before the Jesuits. So what you talking about I don't even subscribe to that.
No yelling. All right, yo, go, brother.
But you go ahead.
You go ahead. Yeah.
You go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, the science that you keep speaking of, the theory of gravity, wasn't created in Africa, Razul. It was created by the Jesuits in Europe. Okay? Talk about Big Bang and all this science that you believe in is the science, because that's what's taught in the Jesuit university, is George Lemaitre, a Jesuit priest. And the Vatican, that's why I told you guys, the Vatican are the ones talking about the aliens coming now. Literally 2 weeks ago.
Yo, here's the thing, though. When you talk about all those sciences,
aliens are coming.
Listen. All of that science, all that stuff you talking about. When you talking about the Jesuits and the so-called Illuminati and all that, let me tell you something. We don't subscribe to that knowledge. We don't really subscribe to the Copernican era. We have science that goes back before the Europeans. Before that,
what do you have?
That's another.
What you got.
No. I ain't gonna go into that because that's not y'all's is here to prove y'all point. I'm not here to talk about what I know. So you can say that. You can say that, but the point I'm making is to the point I'm.
Hold on. Well, I'm gonna say this one thing. If you got something to say to them, say it directly to them and prove it, and then y'all too.
Well, hold on. It's already out there. That information is already there, and I'm not going to take up the show. I'm going to let y'all talk because you said my name. I'm letting you know. No, I don't subscribe to to any of the Greek philosophy, Copernicus, or none of them, because I know I can find all that information before those theories.
So let me build that fast.
You can try to use that. You can try to use that if you want to. It's not going to work on me.
So all right. Well, then don't bring up Jesuit theories like gravity.
No, that's you looking at it that way. It's not us. That's your opinion on that. The Jesuits don't exist in my reality.
We got that one person at a time because we gotta get this right. All right. Well, I want to get to a point where we can get stuff right.
Yeah.
Did you bring up anything about Jesuits?
No, I did not.
All right. So Vinny.
Yeah.
Let me ask him. Let me ask him a question. So Vinny,
I ain't bring up nothing.
Where do you come off with saying that he brought up the Jesuit?
Because he said because right away you guys cut off Dave Weiss, who's trying to give scientific.
We didn't cut him off, yo.
Hold on. I want to hear this out. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, Dave's trying to talk, and with Razul and Mank,
right?
And what up, Mank? You guys are you come with him with, well, what about gravity? So that's why I'm bringing it gravity up. That Razul talked about when Dave was talking about the water should be bulging at the center, which that's why we call it pear Earth to make fun of Neil Tyson deGrasse. He talks about the Earth's pear shape. All right. So when he's explaining this, how this is impossible, you brought up gravity. So that's why I came at you with, listen, instead of talking about gravity, Big Bang, and Jesuit science, let's talk about other stuff. I mean, their science says whatever. We should know that by now. I mean, the JFK, their scientists said one bullet made 7 holes. On 9/11, they said, buildings free fall, crashing through all the floors. They make up science. And anybody who's awake should, stop listening to the experts and science and do your own scientific experiment.
Let me jump in, Vinny.
Go ahead.
Let me jump in. You just have to be careful because heliocentric believers, include that I was one at a time.
Like we got a disease or something.
We would say we've known. Yeah, it is a disease. It's a really bad one, and I don't want to ever retract it. We say, well, the science. They have known. So who are they? Well, some of the they are these guys. These are all Jesuits. I mean, not Jesuits. These are all Freemasons, and we don't even know if they're real people because we weren't there. They're made up stories, in my opinion. So then you say, well, I don't need them because we've known before that. Well, the official story is that we've known for 2,000 years that the Earth is a globe from Aristophanes. But, over 2,000 years ago, this device was found. It's called the Antikythera mechanism. It's over 2,000 years old, and it shows you the Soros cycle, which is the eclipse cycle, which is there's 2 of them. They're 18 years long, about 18 years, 18, 19 years, where the eclipses repeat again and again like a perfect clock, not like a beehive with magic gravity holding everything together. So this shows that what we're seeing in the sky is a designed, precise clock. There's no other way to explain it. And if I had a tennis ball and it was 50 yards away from you, I'd say, what is that? You would say, and there was nothing else to see for reference. You go, well, that's a tennis ball. But if I had a tennis ball that was 10 times farther and 10 times the size, you would say, that's a tennis ball. And I'd say, you wouldn't know the difference in the size. You wouldn't know where it is. You couldn't tell me how big it is or how far it is because you don't know.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
now you just said that you admitted that you don't know how far the sun or the moon is, correct?
100%.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Let me ask you a question. If the Earth is not floating in space, what is the Earth attached to?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know that either?
Yeah.
All right, man.
How would I know that?
Yeah.
How would I know that? Listen, and by the way, because I don't know what a catalytic converter is, I don't even know if my car has one. And if you paid me $1,000 and you open the hood, I couldn't find it. Okay, but my car works. And
I'm just saying, you just got a whole lot of I don't knows. You know what I'm saying?
But you're asking a nuanced question.
Right.
That's not a nuanced question. That's a typical question. If you're telling me that the Earth is not a spinning ball, right? If you tell me the Earth is not a spinning ball, okay. Then what am I supposed to replace that knowledge of it being a spinning ball with? If it's not a spinning ball, what is the Earth attached to?
You don't need necessarily something to replace it with to know that something is false.
I do.
No. Why do you need something to replace it with?
I need something to replace it with because this is what I've been taught. And since you guys are telling me,
let me represent itself, though?
Since you're telling me that this is not the science, that the Earth is not a globe, then okay, then let's go over here where y'all at. Y'all saying that the Earth is not a globe. Okay, well, what is attached to? We don't know.
Well, that's the whole point, though.
Well, you were okay with the globe just dangling in space and like the vacuum of space hanging on nothing, right? So why does it have to Earth have to be sitting on something?
I'm gonna give
you were
some.
okay with.
Okay,
how
does
it make sense that the Earth is just
AD?
floating in a vacuum of space? How does it make sense that a gas giant planet can congeal in a vacuum when here the known laws of physics show that gases expand in a vacuum? I mean, nothing about the heliocentric model really makes sense if you think about it. Do you walk on a ball or do you walk on a flat surface?
Okay, well, where is the Earth attached to?
All right, hold on. Let AD. What you had to say?
That's a great question, but we don't know because what you know it was if it wasn't a curve. Now you know it's not a curve, and so you replace.
I still don't know that.
You replace curve with not curve.
I don't.
That's the end of the thing. And here's the thing: for us, for the flat earthers, like we basically need to just stay on our thesis. Our thesis is there is no curvature.
That's all y'all got.
That's all we need because every other nuanced questions. What about the eclipses? What about that? It doesn't matter.
I need to know.
It doesn't matter
because the heliocentric joints they show
up
proves that.
The
thesis. The way y'all talking about it, just I don't know. I can't go.
That's okay. And it's okay not to know.
Why don't y'all just call it a rock?
One at a time.
Because there's no curve.
Come on, hold on, though.
Go ahead.
Hey, hold on. Let's stop all this. Hold on and let everybody go. Like if you go, you go. Okay, you go. All right, you go. But when you get your point, just get to your point and then let the next person get it. Now,
let me finish what I'm saying. We gotta
organize it.
All I'm saying is, in my opinion, I'm not gonna say anything after this. Yo, why can't you guys? I see where y'all going with the flat Earth, but why don't y'all just admit that it's a rock?
Because rocks have curves.
Oh man, come on, yo.
How is that a come on?
I can admit that it's a rock.
It doesn't have curves. It's not a curve. A curve.
A flat rock. It's a flat rock.
I agree.
You can call it a flat rock.
Y'all see now y'all beating around the bush. I'm sitting up here trying to reason with y'all.
Right.
I'm trying to reason with y'all.
He gave you his answer.
Yeah, that was it.
All right, but that's just a so AD's kind of a weak answer though.
The conversation's basically over.
It's a weak answer, bro.
No, it's a solid, strong answer. In fact, it's as strong as a rock. Because this rock has no curves.
When he asks you a question, when Sue asks you a question, you got to answer that question.
And the answer is, rocks have curves.
No, rocks have.
Go ahead.
Have grooves and hard edges, and it's not totally.
Yes.
It's not. There's no real curve. It's almost like that. It's not a rock. Doesn't have a particular curve.
Like a pizza will have little dividends and a pepperoni on the side and a cheese.
The Earth is made. It has rocks in it. Absolutely.
I actually think Earth is a crystal.
Karen,
go ahead.
I think it's a crystal. If you really want to get down to it, I think that it's a crystal. Yeah. I think a lot of what we're encased in is a crystalline. It's a crystalline dome. Crystals have a lot of electromagnetic, piezoelectric properties. You know. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
It's a crystal with water on it.
We live on a rock. It's a crystal rock. There's a whole bunch of different kinds of crystal rocks that make up the big giant crystal rock that we live on.
Yeah, now I can reason with y'all with that. You know what I'm saying? And you know how scientists say, priest, a lot of different elements came here from other asteroids. And they crashed into the Earth. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They say water was brought here from.
Cool story.
They say water was brought here from asteroids. I'm not saying that I agree with that, but that's what they say. I mean, we could talk about these topics all.
We talked about it. I wanted to know if fire come from the planet Earth or water does.
That's an element.
Fire is an element, priest. But hey,
let me ask you a question.
I'm with Karen.
One of you was saying. One of you guys was saying. What the hell were you saying? I forgot my point. You were saying it's gone. It's gone. Let me. I guess I'll just continue.
Just take your time and just going.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, I remember. You said I don't need the Jesuits, whatever. We've known the Earth is a globe long before that. When? What can you cite where you were told that the Earth is a globe or who proved it?
Yeah,
and everyone. And here's the problem.
Who you asking?
We always say. I'm asking any of you guys at that table there. If you one of you, I'm not sure who it was, said that we've known for thousands of years before that. Who knew? Like I used to say, oh, somebody proved it already, a guy in a lab coat. But I like, how did he prove it? I don't know. And that's how I became a flat earther when I realized that there is no proof of the globe. So if we've known the Earth was a globe, who proved it?
Let me ask you a question. Why do bubbles form in the shape of globes?
Here we go. Stop from the spheres. Karen's going to freak out. It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
No, I mean, that's a scientific question because let me say,
do you remember
a bubble could turn into a square, it could turn into a whole different types of things, but it
I actually have an answer for that.
Oh my God.
Look, God's got a point there.
All right.
Yeah,
let them answer the question.
Here we go.
The
spheres again.
They want to talk about bubbles, not the curvature that we can't find.
You know, AD gonna get you.
You go. You jumping in there. AD jumping in there.
I'm just saying.
Well,
You gotta love you. You go.
Yeah, let's talk
We still
about
love you,
bubbles.
brother.
Why do bubbles form?
Why
in
do
water?
bubbles?
I asked you a question.
Because-
Go ahead, Karen.
I mean,
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, this is just my
No,
opinion. Okay,
opinion. Oh,
I don't
okay,
know why.
opinion.
Okay,
Okay,
but
you gotta
I'll
let it
tell
go,
you
though. Let it go.
I'm
Go ahead.
just this is my just my disclosure in the
Go ahead,
beginning.
Karen.
I don't want to act like I'm talking facts here, you know. But what I think it is because we live in an electromagnetic universe, right? Everything is electromagnetic. What shape is an electromagnetic field? It's spherical. An electromagnetic
just
field
say,
naturally
David
is
Weiss?
spherical. It's the
give her a
toroid,
bomb
which is
for
the
that. Give her a
donut
bomb
shape,
for
and
that,
then the
Bruce.
hyperboloid in the center, and a single point of energy forms in a sphere. So I
So
would
why
say
wouldn't the
that's
whole
probably
planet
why-
form in that shape?
Because we are.
Because there is no curvature. That's the problem. That's the problem. Like if a pregnant, this is an example
There's
that
no
my friend Austin
Because the
used.
whole
is
enclosure. What if we live
Yeah.
in a cosmic egg?
Yeah,
What if we live
right.
in a cosmic
And we
egg,
live on a
and where we
dielectric
live is
plane in
is
the
the
middle.
plane in the middle, the dielectric plane of inertia in the middle, as above, so below. Okay, maybe that's where we live that way, right? That's why all energy perpetrates out, all radiates out and around. But that doesn't mean that nature. Everybody always says nature doesn't form straight lines, though. But you
Karen.
can go to any quarry,
Karen.
any crystal quarry,
Come back,
and you can
Karen.
pull a rock out of there that's got straight lines all
Karen,
over
come
it.
back. Come back over here, Karen. Karen.
What's your question, man?
Yes, sir.
You can
I'm
come
here.
back here, Karen. Karen,
I'm
you can
here.
come back.
This is how he flirts.
Yes.
you flirting with Karen there.
All right.
No, she
Let
can
me-
come back. Don't let
back.
don't let them fool you, Karen. Come back over here to the light. Come to the light, Karen. Come to the light.
Karen's died.
Okay.
Okay, let's go to the.
Can I let me just answer the question that I was trying to get you guys to answer. So the official story is that Aristophanes 2,000 years ago in Greece figured it out with sticks and shadows. First, he assumed that sunlight came in parallel. I don't know why he would ever do that because no one's ever seen parallel rays. And so the story is he had the sun on a certain day of the year was directly over his stick or well, whatever, and there was no shadow. But his buddy 500 miles or 5,000 miles away, 500 or 5,000? 500, I think. He had a shadow that he could measure the length, and he did some geometry and figured out the sphericity of the globe. Okay? But this is a flat plane with a small local sun. No shadow. That experiment, which never happened, but if it did happen, it doesn't prove either because it works perfectly in both models. So it's not proof of the globe. And that's the number one globe proof that some guy 2,000 years ago figured it out with sticks and shadows when it works perfectly. Get a light, put two bottles on the table or two lighters, whatever, two posts, hold a light over one of them, no shadow, and over there, there'll be a shadow. Okay? That means that your desk is a sphere if you're a glober.
Right.
We got a super chat here. Melanie says, David and Karen B are legends. Thank you so much for imparting truth to so many people. King of the Sun says science.
AD sent that chat in.
I know we heard you. King of the Sun says science means the study of life. Shane says Dave and KB doesn't get much better than that. S2K says, you know flat earth ain't real. Level says the sciences.
Sarcastic.
That's how it sounded like to me because he used all caps.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm bringing out the
You know
all
what I'm
caps.
saying, man?
Levels for $20 says the sciences of the Bantu people from the Kingdom of Congo, founded 1390, predates the European science, and they also mention the Big Bang Theory. It's referred to as Luku Lualamba. Copernicus was born 1473. Okay.
Yeah, it's adding on to what I was.
Oh, it's adding on to the Big Bang Theory.
I was speaking about that.
That's
Go on.
what I want to get into this with you guys. But have you guys looked into Tataria and the mud floods and the lie of our history?
Say that again. The what?
Have you
floods?
looked into Tataria, which is a worldwide civilization that was here less than 200 years ago?
Tataria.
Have you guys looked into that? Tataria.
You gotta show us a primary for that.
Yeah, well,
pretty interesting.
You know what? I will
Pretty
get
interesting.
you one of the top Tatarian presenters to come on your show. You'll have a great time. But once you see that, the reason I want to point that out is because anything over 100 years ago is a lie. It's a lie, and you don't have any proof otherwise. In the 1920s, everybody in the United States and worldwide knew the Earth was flat. They were teaching flat Earth here in schools in America and across the whole world. So it's all a lie, and they use wars to disassociate us, to not kill off people, and they just change the history. It's so easy to change history. I bet in another 10 or 20 years, Building 7 will never have existed. But one. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask a question. You guys present a lot of your own theories and stuff. You guys, in my opinion, should be approving the flat Earth theory. Why you guys ain't going amongst to the scientific community to showing your thesis and your theories to prove them wrong?
They don't want to talk to us.
They don't want to talk to you guys.
The liberal.
They won't talk to us.
Out of all of the flat Earthers, who is the most intelligent? Has all the facts?
David Weiss, he's on the show right now.
No, I'm not the guy.
So you're the guy.
No, I'm just the guy with the biggest mouth.
Okay.
I'm the guy with the biggest mouth, and who happens to
out of all you guys, who has the credentials? Sorry,
Vinny right here has the credentials. Anybody that will listen and engage their brain can understand that we don't live on a spinning ball in an impossible space vacuum. It breaks every law of physics that
where
there is.
Where do we live on there?
We live on a stationary plane.
Okay.
Period.
Okay? It's attached to.
It's attached to.
Maybe this is the floor of the universe. Maybe this is the floor.
Well, maybe
and how do you know that we live on a
we've
spinning
never
ball?
dug down deep enough.
Right. Nobody's dug deeper than 8 miles. Okay. No one has dug deeper 8 miles, round or flat. Nobody's dug deeper than 8 miles. And when they were digging, all of their ground penetrating radar couldn't tell them what they were going to hit next, but somehow they know what the next 4,000 miles are going to be. That's nonsense.
So where does the volcanic lava come from?
Where does lava come from?
Volcanic lava, yes.
Yeah. So here, I'll give you my theory, which is actually can be proven. So we live in this electrical system.
That's what Karen said. Yeah, I remember that.
So we live in this electrical system. The sun and the moon are the anode and the cathode. The ground has a negative charge to it, and the sky has a positive charge, right? And that's one thing that will explain why things go down. But the Earth is a giant capacitor. It's a big battery. The oceans, the salt water carries the currents. The land is the salt bridge, and we have this big battery current. But there's the electricity builds up in the land, and when you pass electricity through rocks, we're talking about the Earth is rock, the rocks will melt. This is passing electricity through this, and then the rocks actually melt. So lava comes through lava tubes, and you can go to Hawaii and other places, and you can go in these lava tubes of these past volcanoes, but it travels in tubes underneath the ground, and sometimes they break the surface. Sometimes they hit a water pocket and blow up half of a mountain, okay, because it's so hot and the water's compressed, and bam, you have this huge explosion. But volcanoes aren't exactly what we're told, and once you understand that, it makes perfect sense on a flat Earth. You have to believe that, that lava's coming out of the center of the Earth and oozing its way all the way up and popping out like a pimple. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Shout out to Lord Jamar in the building. He's in the chat room right now.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Karen, you have anything to add on
I was going to say you could kind of think about where we live almost like a thermogalvanic battery cell. Right? So you have like the salty ocean, and you have the sun and the moon, the positive and the negative, and then you have the lava tubes, the salt tubes, and everything. If you look at it that way, you can kind of see how it kind of works. It's almost like a self-perpetuating system.
And
whatever.
Somebody was saying something. There's also free energy. These world fairs that we had in early 1900s and the 1800s were powered. They were using the free electricity of this Earth. But the controllers of this world after the reset, they wanted to control people. So how do you control people? Energy, food. You supply them with fake money. Excuse me. Fake money, and then you take it back. Hey, we'll let you make this money, and then we'll take a whole bunch back, and at the end of the year, we'll give you a little bit back so you're happy again. It's all about control. Imagine if you didn't have to pay for electricity. Imagine if you didn't have to pay for housing, and imagine if everybody grew their own food. you wouldn't need to work so hard. You wouldn't need to, struggle. But they
You wouldn't have to
struggle.
slave away mining somebody else's gold.
Right.
All right, we got another super chat over
I agree with you on that.
We got another super chat from Melanie. Thank you for your patience and persistence, Karen B. and David Weiss. Reggie says, if someone asks I don't know question, just ask them, how do you know question? All right. Jose Luna says, please get Roz and Mank off the pod when Weiss comes through.
You would read that, AD. Would
I'm reading the super chats.
Why would you read that?
I mean, because it's in the super chat. They paid for that. It was $2.
All right,
come on, AD.
E for $3 says flat power.
See, you got all the flat power. That's y'all new slogans. Flat power.
We got another one here. Ross says,
not to cut you off, but the only thing that doesn't validate your theory as far as the plasma aspect of it is, if that was true, then the surface of the Earth would be tremendously hot.
Why so?
Because you're saying that the sun and the moon is creating an electromagnetic field that is heating up the core, heating up inside of the Earth and causing this lava to come out and use a plasma ray as a form of, an arc wave as a form of your demonstration. But
the electricity comes down to the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
The electricity comes down to the Earth. It's hotter down in Death Valley because the air is denser there. You go up on the top of Mount Everest, closer to the sun, it's cold, right? I don't even think the sun is hot. I think the sun is sending electricity here. It makes things grow.
It's called radiation.
Beams, solar panels. Solar panels collect electricity,
crazy,
not
man.
photons.
Right.
Okay? The official story of a photon is it's born in the middle of the sun, takes 1 billion years to get to the end of the sun, and then it exits the sun. It takes 8.5 minutes to get to Earth, and then it crashes into a solar panel and knocks the boron molecule out of a silicon wafer. Okay? Or is it just sending electricity here, and they're collecting the electricity in solar panels?
You have a mojito.
Solar power is also is just as bad as all of the other forms of power that they're talking about, because there's free energy here, and you could prove it yourself. Just hang a wire high in the air from a tower, and you'll see there's voltage in it.
Mm-hmm.
We got another one here from Rob Blackstorm for $10. He says the zodiac in the temple of Dendera in Egypt disproves flat Earth. It's a circle. Also, yes, bubbles are also shaped like atoms. How many square lenses are there? Those are spheres too. That's from Ra. Yeah, but there's still no curvature, so we still.
I don't know how a circle disproves flat Earth, because a plate is a circle, a coin is a circle, a pizza is a circle.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that disproves flat Earth.
I always say,
what is the plate? Is the plate in space? Where's the plate at? Is the plate attached to more rock? What is the plate at? If it's a plate,
that's a great.
I'm not saying Earth is a plate.
Right.
I'm saying it's a pizza.
You're saying it's a pizza.
Well, I'm not saying the Earth is
Actually,
floating anything. I
cheese
think the Earth is the basement of the universe. That's how I describe it. When nobody knows what's below 7 or 8 miles, so stop asking us, because you can't answer that yourself.
All right, then. Next one we got is from Eccentricaste. Flat Earthers have friends around the globe. Seriously, stop making argument for ignorance. Debate an astronomer, quote unquote. Use your model to make prediction.
They won't. Bring them on.
So that's a silly joke. Cats will push everything off the end of the Earth. We know people across the Earth.
Yeah.
Across the world.
Mm-hmm.
All right? You can go around the world. You can circle east and west. On a flat Earth, you can only go around the world east to west. Okay? Think about this. You can only go on a flat Earth around the world east to west, right? Yeah. So at the center, you have your magnetic center. Here's my compass. And as I try to go west, I have to keep turning. So I have to circle to maintain my western trip, because my needle always has to point towards the center. So on a flat Earth, you can only circle east and west. You can circle east and west the same way on a globe. No problem. It doesn't prove either, right? If I want to go east, I have to keep turning. East is not a straight line. East is a circle around the magnetic center. All right, this isn't a question, this isn't a theory, and it's the same on a globe. You have to keep turning towards the north. But on a flat Earth, or a globe, if I continue straight in any direction, I end up going south. South is every direction away from the center. On a flat Earth, you cannot circumnavigate going south and end up back north. Like if I go off of Santiago here, I should end up in Australia on a globe. On a flat Earth, that doesn't work. But nobody's ever done it. Nobody has ever circumnavigated the world south to north. No one has ever done it. You can go, if you go south, you just go away on a flat Earth. No one's ever done that on our world. I wonder why. And if I go north, as soon as I pass the north, I'm heading south. The compass just did a 180, and now I'm heading south. You can do that on a globe also, but once you go around, what happened there? Once you go around, you can't come back on a flat Earth, and nobody's ever done it.
But your
Right?
flat sky theory still doesn't explain the distance between the sun and the moon and why there's lunar eclipse.
Have you ever heard about the Venn diagram paradox?
Explain.
Circular polarization.
Explain, Karen.
Well, it's like when you take a polarized lens and you can see through it. I don't have a polarized lens in front of me, but if you take a polarized lens and you can see through it, and you take another polarized lens and you rotate that polarized lens 45 degrees, well, now you can't see light through it. And then you take another lens and you can rotate that lens another certain degree, and more light will come through, and it will even turn red like a blood moon.
Let me explain that. Let me explain it again. So you have your polarized film, and you can see through it. It's like sunglasses. Then you get another one, and you turn it like this, and it becomes opaque. Okay, everybody can understand that. You guys may have seen that, and I have videos where I can show you where you can see these videos. So now, let me ask you a question. You can see through this. You can't see through this because it's blocking. If we added another lens in front of it, well, you shouldn't be able to see through it, but you can. When we add a third lens, all of a sudden you can see through it again. And it changes things to, as Karen said, to red, which makes, that
it's just polarizing the light. Even though the light's still going through there, it's changing it. It's just changing the polarization of it.
And that makes a lot more sense on the eclipse. Finishing up on circumnavigation, one guy not too long ago was trying to prove southern circumnavigation, and we could track him. And he went from up north. He went over here to Alaska, California, Hawaii, these islands up here, Santiago. Then he went to the South Pole, and they said, "Oh, the weather's too bad. We're just going to turn around and go up through Brazil." And we're like, "Oh, he didn't do it." And he went all the way back, and Guinness Book gave him the record for southern circumnavigation. Okay, all he did was this. He just did this little trip here on the flat Earth, and they said, "Yep, you circumnavigated the globe, right?" Why are they lying? Why are they doing stuff like that when it's clear to any glober or flat earther or anybody with two brain cells that this is not circumnavigating a globe? Got the Guinness Book of World Records for that. Okay? Why are they lying about that?
Okay.
Hey, Killah, can I jump in for a second? I got to tell you something, Killah.
Go ahead.
I just seen in the chat, shout out to Brother Sanchez TV.
Oh, yeah. We got Bro Sanchez out there.
Hey.
He's a big name. I didn't want you guys to miss out on that. Brother Sanchez, if you hear me, I wrote you a while ago trying to get you on the Killah Priest show. So, hit me back or I'll write you again. You should definitely come on.
Yeah,
we didn't need 10 hours for that show. You guys going at it. But Brother Sanchez, that's a 10-hour show.
Yeah? All right, Bro Sanchez, hit up Vinny. Hit up Vinny, Bro Sanchez. Hit him back.
Yeah. I'll watch that show.
Nice.
Oh, man, that's an honor for the great Dave. And I'm just meeting Karen. Yeah, exactly. It's on.
Back over here.
We got a super chat right here from Awesome Austin. He says, surface of water lays level. Earth is covered in 70% level water. Add the sky clock to it. Tick-tock. We live in a clock.
That's right.
Pop lock.
Hey, and the other day I heard you guys talking about
star
rotation. Yeah, and by the way, star rotation is a really good one. But and again, explaining star rotation is really difficult. You got to see. So in my app, which you guys should have had after the last time, if you hit the frequently asked questions, the question mark, and you click Southern Star Rotation, which is right here. Click that. There's all of these videos that are amazing that will show you how in the South that when you're looking at from Santiago or Auckland, Australia, or South Africa, how you can see the same stars at midnight. Okay. And if you're in South America, Santiago, and in Johannesburg, South Africa, both places share the same nighttime at the same time. And when the Southern Cross is in between them, they can both see it due south from their position. It works perfectly in a flat Earth because the person you had on last time was saying, this makes flat Earth impossible. No, it makes their understanding of flat Earth. The last thing is the top video in this. If I click it, I just want to show you guys this. Let me just make it a little bigger.
We got the guy too. He's been shadow boxing.
So I just want to show you this guy in Australia. He did this model where he made this dome and he's showing from under a dome. And when he's got the northern stars rotating at the top of the dome, and then when you look in the south, you see them rotating. This is when you're looking towards Australia. And if I go a little farther, and when he moves over, it's hard to see right here. I highly recommend you guys watch that video, and then you'll be like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. And again, I always say this. Looking at the ceilings, at the lights in your ceiling are no way to describe the shape of your floor, right? But to say the southern star rotations make the flat Earth impossible, not true. We can show you several different ways that you would see exactly what we see. We don't know what the absolute truth is, but we can see it. So there you go.
Nice. Looks good.
Right. And by the way, that's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. If you really want to learn about Flat Earth, it is the best way to learn about it because it bypasses the algorithms. If you search for Flat Earth, you won't find crap. You will never find anything. Right. You won't find it. You won't find anything
because they block this knowledge. You're not supposed to know this stuff.
Now he brought him up. What'd you say, Eddie? Now he brought him up because Minister Freedom been shadow boxing. He's
and if you guys like cryptocurrency, I'm offering 3 Bitcoins for one globe. 3 Bitcoins. But here's what you have to do. You get the app, you watch the daily video. Every day a new video shows up here. Just watch it every day for 2 weeks. And this is what happens. At the end of that 2 weeks, I say, if you still think the Earth is a globe, hit me up and with the proof. And if you have one, you win. But hit that question mark first because your question is probably answered in there. You're going to have to go back to the drawing board and start over again. But here's what happens. After like 1 or 2 days, the person's like, I don't want to wait. And they hit this button here, which is all of the videos that have been on the app in the last 2 years. And then 2 days later, I get a call or an email going, I haven't eaten. My wife wants to divorce me. I lost my job because I haven't been to work in 2 days. And I hate you because now everybody thinks I'm crazy because the Earth is flat. And I'm like, welcome to Flat Earth. Your life's only going to get better from here.
It's a paradigm shift. Because it'll shift your entire world, your entire reality. You have to be ready to look like a fool, look crazy, because it totally switches your entire world around. And the mind doesn't want to switch. It's almost like being on a hallucinogen.
I love when they say, you flat earthers will never change your mind. No, we were you. We changed our mind, and we did it. Karen and I did it 6 years ago, 7 years. How long ago? It's been 2015.
At least 6 years now.
You were having
and that wasn't easy back then. At least like 20, we couldn't find anyone like you guys. Like, let's talk about flat Earth. You mentioned flat Earth, you're like, you're an idiot, you're a moron. I was one of those people because when somebody brought it to me, I banned them from our social media for being so stupid to even ask me to watch a 1 minute video.
I used to make fun of it. I used to make fun of flat Earthers all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to troll them too, and then I said I'm just going to prove them wrong, so they leave me alone, and then that's how you become a flat Earther. Once you say, and by the way, flat Earthers know that we don't know lots of things. Okay, we can prove some things that are impossible on a globe, but we know. Globers think they know everything. Like every calculation they have for the globe, for all of the planets, for all of our solar system relies on one thing: the radius of the Earth, from the center of the Earth to the surface. They say it's 3,958 miles. I hope I got that right. Is that right, Karen?
3959.
Okay, 3959. How did they get it? How did they get it? Well, we just proved Eratosthenes couldn't do it. How did they get it?
Well, let's
right? The only other way they got it was by measuring the Venus passing by the sun, assuming Venus is the same size as Earth. Well, how did you do that? What if Venus is the size of a basketball?
Oh, man.
Okay, bring in Minister Freedom. He's in there. We got somebody that was.
We got somebody in here who's going to ask questions here.
Nah, he's Minister Freedom. Are you there? He's still.
Hold on, he's still got to build up in here.
Aristophanes couldn't do it. How did they get it?
Well, let's.
Right? The only other way they got it. Got their show playing.
Yeah.
Venus passing. Minister, you got to turn off the show. You know that.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Muted.
He's muted.
You're on. No, he's on now.
Maybe he's muted.
Oh, is he?
He has to unmute.
No. He's still got to build up.
Yeah, we hear you.
Do it. Well, how did they get it?
Well, let's.
Right? The only other way they got it. Got their show playing.
Yeah.
Venus passing.
Minister,
you got to turn.
Hey, Minister Freedom, you got to turn off the show. You got to turn it either down, and then hit your mute button.
That's cool. I'm better now.
Yeah, definitely.
Word up. Man, good evening, man. Thank you for having me, man. Peace to the gods.
Peace,
God,
peace.
Man, y'all having a great conversation cracking on, man. I just want to add on some few points, man.
Well, just jump right on in and bring it out because it's on.
Hey, what's today's mathematics, God? What's today's mathematics?
Today's mathematics is knowledge add a cipher, God. You know
knowledge what?
Knowledge add a cipher. Yeah, and that's what I came to do, to come add my knowledge on to the cipher, God. That's all.
Okay.
Word is bond. So just real quick.
Is a cipher 360 degrees, Lord?
Not in mathematics.
It's not.
It is in the supreme alphabet.
Oh, okay.
That's a build, though. We could build on that.
Y'all about to get into it. It'd be so much stuff going on. Go ahead.
No, God, I just wanted to add on real quick, man, to the point that I know y'all was talking about earlier where Rasul kind of brought it up about the original man. And that, people like to make this claim that the round earth thing started with Copernicus.
Yeah, there you go, brother.
Weiss asked for somebody to bring the research and bring the data. So what I wanted to show was the Mesopotamians, 4,000 years ago before Copernicus, they dealt with a flat earth. The Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Sumerians, the people, they dealt with a round earth. Pardon myself. The Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Mesopotamians, the Dogon, the people of the Dogon, way before Copernicus. So I just want to delve in this because what we had to realize, what nobody likes to talk about, the science of the flat earth comes from the European Christians, and that's no diss to them. That's no diss to, to anybody from that world or anybody from that background. However, just being clear, what we have to know is that, there's something Samuel Rosbottom, he came with this ideology. This was the foundation of the mindset. So,
that is not where flat earth came from.
Okay, and we can go through that, but just, that's where we get the modern movement, if I'm not mistaken. He the one that kind of made it really
Also,
popular.
I happen to have a tattoo of the Babylonian universe.
Okay.
The Babylonian universe was this. It's like the cosmic egg with the flat surface in the center. That's what the Babylonians thought was the universe. They thought it was a flat earth.
You mentioned all of these places that come from our fake history, and again, once you guys look in to see what happened in the 1800s, you'll realize that everything is a lie before that. But all of the information we have about all of them, everyone had a flat cosmology until the religion of NASA showed up.
Oh, wait a minute.
They're the only ones.
Wait a minute. So I have some
I'm sorry.
Some evidence about the Sumerians, about the Mesopotamians, about the Dogon. So what you're telling me is that our original cultures that predate all of these people, that predate NASA by hundreds of thousands of years, all of them are liars. The Dogons were liars.
You haven't shown us anything, though. You're just saying stuff. Can you show us something? Because I've never heard anybody say any of this stuff before or claim any of this stuff before. So I'm very interested in seeing where you're getting this from.
Can I share my screen? Can I get screen share?
Yep, go ahead.
All right. Wonderful. All right. So let's get into it. So this is from a very good book. Let's deal with it. So right here, I'm on page 198. In this book, can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep.
This book is a really, really good reference for a whole lot of stuff. So where did I go? All right. So let's deal with, first up, we got the Babylonian, or was I at the, hold on, what page was I at? I'm going to go back here. Yep, so this is from The 12th Planet by Zechariah Stitcher. Okay, so one thing he brought to us was he explained in this paragraph right here, to measure and correlate the intricate movements of the sun, moon, earth, and planet, the Mesopotamian astronomer priests relied on a complex spherical astronomy. Okay, and they were able to derive calendars very, very early on. Very, very early on. And this is where we get the earliest phenomenon of what we now call the zodiac. Okay, the zodiac was a system that was derived from the Mesopotamians. And I'm going to go to this page right here to kind of go into that. And before I do, this picture right here was a picture that comes from the Babylonian civilization, and where they derived a calendar. This was published by the Royal Astronomical Society of the Planisphere, that originated in Babylonia. Okay?
A planisphere, a plane sphere.
Yep.
Planisphere.
Planisphere. Flat.
And
plane. First word being
not
plane.
Not globosphere.
Y'all not cut me
Planisphere.
Hold on. The reproduction of a spherical surface on a flat map. On a flat map. Now, we know that they were dealing with a spherical surface because when we go to the actual Babylonian language, okay, we have this is where the Babylonians get the zodiac from. They call it the animal cycle. Okay, and these are words in Mesopotamian like Gun Anad, which mean heavenly bull, and these are zodiacs that were derived using the understanding that the earth was spherical hundreds and thousands of years.
No, that's not at all how zodiacs were derived. Do you know that all you can do with the things in the sky is observe them? All anybody anywhere can do with any object in the sky, I don't care what it is, all anybody can do is look and observe. Nobody can go there. Nobody can wrong. Touch it. No, it is absolutely true. It's from observations. No, you just sat there and talked. Can I finish? Can I finish?
Let her finish.
Let me finish. Okay.
I didn't get a chance to finish.
Okay.
Right.
Well, what else?
So what we can do with these astronomical observations is then make predictions of when these
no, you can't. Okay, well then I'm going to interrupt you because you can't make predictions from a globe model. All of these predictions that you're talking about are people who were standing on the flat level earth looking up at the sky, and they watched and they wrote down everything that these objects did. And they did that for hundreds of years. And you know what they made from these observations that they did for hundreds of years? They made canons and ephemerises. And these canons and ephemerises are used today to predict eclipses. If you go to NASA's website, if you go to MrEclipse.com, they will tell you that all of these are made from charts. Every eclipse repeats itself on a cycle. Everything goes back to the place it was time and time again. Every eclipse rotates just off by a degree every time the cycle renews. And these are all just made from observations from people standing on the ground looking up. Okay. And the way that we see our vision, everything that we see is in a sphere because you are always the center. You can only see from your point of view out center in a ball, in a round shape all around you. Okay. So it doesn't even make any sense. So
what about the Dogon?
What about the Dogon? The Dogon fish god that the Pope wears his hat after?
Oh man, yo, wow. Go ahead.
Whoa, you see how
I'll tell you about the Dogon. Cool story, bro.
Talk about them.
Cool story.
Talk about them. The Dogon gave us the science of what's called the Alma's egg. That's this image that I have. See, the Dogon were this same tribe who were able to predict and pinpoint Sirius B as well as other stars and other galaxies hundreds of years before the Europeans started messing around with astronomy.
It's all based on observations, though. They did it because of observations.
In this observation, they made the observation that the universe was round, and that we were rotating around it. And
that's an assumption. Nobody can prove whether the sun is moving or we're moving.
This is called the Pale Fox. It was research done by 2 scientists who spent half of their lives amongst the Dogon people learning their language. If you want to read this book, you can check it out. It's called The Pale Fox.
Hey, Minister, how big is the globe?
How big is the globe?
How many? What's the circumference of the globe?
24,896 miles, approximately.
So does it have curvature if it's a sphere?
Yes.
Okay, show me the curvature because we can see too far. We can see things that should be miles below the curvature. We can see things with infrared telescopes now that should be many, many miles below the curve, but we can see them. You know why we can see them? Because the Earth is a flat, level, stationary plane, we can see too far.
To your point, we know that this Earth is round because of one example is what's called the Coriolis effect, where you have
Coriolis effect is not even real. That is an.
Are you going to cut me off?
Well, yeah, because the Coriolis effect isn't even real.
Y'all beat him on this. Y'all trying to jump this guy, man.
Let the man speak.
They won't even let me talk.
Just let him. Please.
When you're done, let us respond. When you're done, let us respond.
The Coriolis effect is the way that storms in the southern hemisphere rotate in the opposite direction from storms in the northern hemisphere. And this is a very well observed effect that happens on an everyday basis. And meteorologists, as well as pilots, all use this. Another way about your horizon. Go ahead.
Pilots do not use the Coriolis effect, dude.
You got to let us jump in at some point, dude. Can we jump in and then you can finish? So first, pilots deal with wind currents, not Coriolis effect, right? Coriolis effect will affect a football going through a field goal, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, but won't affect these balloons. You know, a sniper, when he's shooting something far away, they account for drop, and they account, the drop of the bullet, not the curve of the Earth, and they account for winds, but they don't account for the spin of the Earth. And the idea that storms only spin in opposite directions in the south and the north is not true. They generally spin in the opposite direction, but depending on where the sun and the moon are, sometimes a counter-rotating storm will cross the ecliptic, will cross the equator, cross the tropical zone, spinning in the wrong direction, which completely negates the Coriolis effect.
Prove that.
Well, why does that happen? So the sun and the moon are circling around the Earth. Let me show you. The sun and the moon are circling around the Earth, and as they go around, they create a wake. So there's the sun and the moon. They create a wake. So now if you take your hand and push it through some water, you'll see counter-rotating vortices spinning off of your hand. And that's exactly what's causing these counter-rotating vortices. And it's not just the sun and the moon. It's the whole magnetic, electrical, toroidal system of our flat plane, which explain that. But on your Coriolis idea, that you couldn't have a counter-rotating storm in the north or the south, and we do all the time.
Okay, and can I also just add what I was trying to say before?
No sources. You just said it is that.
They don't never bring no sources. Y'all don't never bring no sources.
Hold on, one at a time.
Can you, since you brought up the Coriolis effect, can you actually go to Wikipedia and type in Coriolis force and see that in the very first line in physics, the Coriolis force is an inertial or fictitious force that acts on objects that are in motion within a frame of reference.
Are we using Wikipedia as a verifiable resource now?
No.
Are you saying that there's no truth in Wikipedia? Like, I'm not saying everything is true in Wikipedia, but you can Google, okay, then go find another source of what the Coriolis effect is.
I have.
Okay, but it's a fictitious force based on an inertial frame of reference. And you can't prove the frame of reference when we're talking about space and the sun and the universe. So the Coriolis effect is fake.
We can prove the point of reference by recording what happens in the physical world.
No, you can't prove a point of reference.
Well, give me an example, Minister.
Within the Earth environment, but when you're talking about a frame of reference in space in the universe, no, you cannot.
According to who? According to whom?
According to everybody.
To who though? Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Everybody like who? Because everybody don't agree with
anybody in science. Anybody who,
you name a scientist?
Anybody will admit that you can't prove the frame of reference.
Who?
Like
what scientist?
Anybody.
Like who?
All right.
What's a scientist?
Any scientist. Anybody. That's what I'm saying. Anybody in general. So, you can't prove the frame of reference. You can't prove whether the sun is moving or Earth is moving. That's the point. But the Earth presents itself as still in motion.
The Earth is revolving around the sun. That's proven.
No, you can't.
No, it's not.
Yes, you can.
It is not.
That's why we have days.
No, it is not proven.
That's why we have days in the sun.
No. The same thing works with a small and local sun moving over a flat plane Earth.
Y'all crazy.
You have what's called.
Y'all crazy, man.
If you want to learn about the
Coriolis,
here's the thing. You're not going to learn about Coriolis here just arguing about it. If you hit the question mark, you hit the Coriolis button, up comes a whole bunch of hand-selected videos that will teach you about the Coriolis. Don't just believe them.
Great.
It'll point it out. It'll show you experiments you can do yourself. Check it out. There's
that's coming from your
narrative. Let the brother speak, man.
No.
Let Minister speak. Can he speak for a second?
One at a time, yo. One at a time. Let's just do it with order.
Yeah, I'm just.
Now, who's building, Minister?
Freedom. Yeah, I just wanted to make this point, man. I know it was said earlier that nobody has ever circumnavigated the Antarctica. Here's a the USA Today article about 55 scientists from 30 countries who did a 90-day trip around Antarctica in 2016. It's known as the Antarctic Circumnavigation Expedition, where researchers studied the impact of climate change and pollution around the Southern Ocean and Antarctica. So, I mean, here's an example of someone who actually circumnavigated the Antarctica. So are these 30 countries and 50 scientists lying as well, Dave?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay,
and have you heard of the Antarctic? Have you heard of the Antarctic Treaty?
Yes, man, we have.
Okay. Yeah, so
it provides for countries to work together and explore and do research on Antarctica, like the many Antarctic bases that are over 5 of them, some that are even manned by the private sector, all who have interest in Antarctica. So here we have it. Like normally with the flat earthers, everybody's lying, and that's the point that I want to make. So we're going to say, you're going to tell me that the ancient original people who predate all of the scholars and people that you're talking about, the Jesuits, the Dogon, the Sumerians, the Babylonians, everybody has to be lying for the flat earth to work.
No.
I don't know. Why do you say that? There's a lot of ancient cultures that talk about flat earths, geocentric universes. Tons of them. David had a video. David, bring up your picture again where you just showed like the ink, all of them.
Yeah, let's just
all
pull
of them. Oh my gosh.
Y'all gotta show something, man.
It was a meme.
David just had that picture up.
Man.
The Incans, the Mayans, the Babylonians.
Where the research?
The Norse astrology, astrolabe, that's Arabic. Look at right there, Aztec, Arabic, Hindu.
That's a meme.
Celtic.
These are all meme.
That's a meme.
That's a compilation of pictures of those different cultures, ancient pictures of the universe.
But here, I'll give you
all of them are geocentric.
That we don't have. Listen,
okay.
They could be lies also, and so could yours. If you don't know, listen, we don't know what our history is. Once you understand,
you brought up the astrolabe. You brought up the astrolabe, Brother Rasul. You're a Muslim. Are you familiar with the science of the kibbe?
Yep.
You know what the kibbe does?
Well,
okay.
Go ahead and elaborate, brother.
I could build on.
I want you to build. Go ahead.
In the older Islamic cultures, because he brought up the astrolabe. Okay, the Islamic people, and this is a picture of it. Okay, if you study the Ottoman Empire, they developed a technique, most notably known as the kibbe, as well as the astrolabe, to always orient themselves to Mecca, because the sun rises over the Kaaba, and it's directly over the sun, over the Kaaba, twice a year. So from that, the ancient Muslim cultures was able to derive then angles in an ancient form of spherical geometry to then understand and help a Muslim always be able to find and orient himself to the east. So in every masjid around the world, they have what's called a kibbe, which is in a sense, an astrolabe. Okay, you also have these, which are smaller ones, which is a handheld one that Muslims will walk around in to always orient themselves to the sun and understand the sun's difference.
It's pretty flat to me.
Why isn't it shaped like a ball?
Well, here's one.
Show him. Go ahead. Go ahead and show it. Show it to him.
This is one that you see in a masjid. Is usually shaped like an arch. Here's one. So this picture here, you'll see this archway, and in this archway there are angles as well as oh my goodness, there are angles and words written in Arabic to help a person then derive and understand how to find their way to be able to make prayer to the east based off of the orientation of the sun.
That's basically what it was used for.
All that stuff can work on a flat earth too.
What the
all that stuff
Islamic
works the same on a flat earth.
That in order for this to work, the earth was round because they observed the sun being in the shadow of the sun, then being in different places, and they can always find east.
Didn't we just go over this with Eratosthenes?
Yeah, we just showed you that it works perfectly on a flat earth.
All of this stuff works perfectly on a flat earth. Okay, but how about this? How about take away all ancients? Every ancient culture,
history is our best teacher.
No,
it's not. History's written by the victors.
This is a thought experiment. Take away all ancient cultures, all space, all space agencies, everything, and you go out and you walk out with your own mind, not knowing any of that stuff. What does the Earth represent itself as?
Render him now.
A globe.
That's because listen to
where?
me.
How do you get a globe if you walk out and you see a flat
she asking him. She asking Freedom.
How do you get that?
To me, I will walk outside.
Flat.
If I take away all ancient everything, I'm going to deal with science because we teach to deal with science. We know that all hydrogen, all bonds in nature, all molecular bonds always will take the form that has the least amount that uses the least amount of energy. This is why, and I showed this on the last one. You know, our brother Lord Jamar, we know he done. I showed this on our last conversation, and that was the image of what water does in its natural state. When it
lays flat.
Yeah, it lays flat. It takes the form of a container.
Don't say a drop of water. A large body of water.
By the way,
lays
if you talk about a perfectly round drop of water, that's not water in its natural state. That's water being suspended in space. Okay, water in its natural state.
That's water. So
water lays flat. So
what we have to realize:
anything bigger than a bucket of water lays flat. Hey, minister, listen. I know you got a lot to say, but you have to take a breath and let us interject on all of your nonsense.
Yeah, Freedom. Let them talk. Let them talk. Bill too. Go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Absolutely.
So, in the heliocentric model, everything's moving in all these different directions. But on November 11th at 11:11 a.m. every single year, the sun lines up with this monitor, with this monument, and lights up this emblem on the ground perfectly. In a heliocentric gravitational space vacuum, idiotic system where planetary alignments and gravity and all this crap is going on, that could never happen. This is a perfect ordered system over a flat stationary plane. The sky is a clock. It's a huge clock, and it has all different cycles in it. The eclipses, the cycles of the eclipses that we explained before, perfectly explain that it's not a random beehive, nonsensical system like you're saying. That makes no sense.
I'm not saying
yes, that is
saying,
what you're saying.
We got Lord Jamal in the building.
What I am saying is that the original man, and that for cultures that predate, all of this Hellenistic stuff that you're talking about, have been teaching that the earth is round. What I was about to say is that what we have to realize, this whole flat earth thing, man, this is Christianity. Because what we have to know is in all of your models, what's above the dome is supposed to be heaven.
What does the Quran say about earth? How does the Quran describe earth?
It describes it as it's being round.
No, it does not.
No, it doesn't.
Read it to me.
It's a flat earth
Read
book.
it to me.
It's a flat earth book.
Read it to me.
You really want me to read this to you guys?
Yes. What does the Quran say about Earth? Because my best friend is Muslim, and when I talked to her about flat Earth, the first thing she did was go and read from the Quran, and it said that Earth is laid out like a carpet.
No, it doesn't.
Read it for
him. Doesn't say that, guys. Sorry. If we go, and I can name, and I hope you got some references. If we go to Surah number 31, Nasat, chapter number 79, verse 30, it says that Allah made the earth like an expanse, and he made it egg-shaped. And in Arabic, that egg shape is specifically translated to a
brother Sanchez in the house.
Ostrich egg.
The brother Sanchez in the building.
Yes.
Woo! We about to get it on.
You're
gonna roast this pseudoscientist.
Did I answer your question? As well as I'm still waiting on y'all to show me the original culture and the ancient culture that taught that the earth was round. I need an ancient artifact.
They already showed you.
Nobody used to teach the earth was round. They all said it was flat and motionless.
Show me the ancient culture that said the earth was flat. Show me.
Sanchez.
We did.
Sanchez speak.
Y'all show
Sanchez speak on this.
Show you.
Sanchez speak.
Come on with it.
Yeah, come on, brother Sanchez. Peace. I want to say peace to you first.
But it doesn't even matter because you never even finished my thought process to take all that stuff away. We can measure a flat Earth. Okay, we can use modern tools and technology to measure that there is no curvature. So how do you explain that we go and where we see where we should measure curvature and we don't with modern technology?
I'm just making a point that this whole mindset comes from Christianity. And that's what I said.
I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Christian.
Hey, first let me say, yo, brother Sanchez.
Shut up.
Man,
what's going on, brother?
Talking to you, punk.
What's good, man? Yo, calm down, man.
Come on, go to a cipher, Lord Jamar.
Smart motherfucker.
Seen you in a cipher in 50 years,
Hey, David Weiss, peace. How are you, David? Peace, Adam. Peace, Vinny. Peace, brother Sanchez.
Boy, don't know 120. You ain't one of us.
Shut the fuck up.
Yo, see?
Fuck up.
Yo, man, calm
down.
Oh, my word.
Here we go.
Calm down, man.
I thought my name was Karen.
Oh, man, you crazy. You bugging out right there, man.
Add on to it because it's going to be a gibberish.
The only way heliocentric can win an argument is that they don't stop talking.
Okay.
You love the 5% album. Eat it.
Man.
And you was lying, perpetrating the whole time.
Ain't nobody lying. You just a
Stop.
dumb motherfucker pretending to be smart. That's all you are. Listen, we're about to talk to Brother Sanchez right now. He about to speak to what he said. He about to drop the science. Shut your dumb ass up for a minute and get some knowledge here.
Come see us at Parliament, my man.
Yeah, I will see you at the Parliament. I'll beat your ass.
We ain't seen you since you snuck out the back door at the show and proves.
Ain't nobody never snuck out no back door, nigga. I'll beat the shit out of you.
All right, Brother Sanchez. All right, listen. Brother Sanchez. Okay. What's up? Peace to Brother Sanchez. Peace to Lord Jamar in the building. Hey, Brother Sanchez, do you? Okay, Brother Sanchez, let's hear from you, brother. I want to say peace to you right now, and come on in and add on to the cipher,
please.
Most definitely, I want to start off by saying the questions we asking, if we try to answer them fast and all that stuff, I don't have a lot of time because I know y'all been streaming a while. It's David's show. Salutes to him and Karen. Big salutes to Lord Jamar. They had a good show. Want to definitely salute Vinny B for acknowledging me in the chat. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Vinny.
I would like to say before I get in anything, Killah Priest, I'm available anytime you ready, my brother, to do my own show. Okay. Nobody, no debating first. I want to lay down what I think need to happen. I need to lay down flat earth from my perspective. It's okay for people to ridicule it, but see, I represent the other half of flat earth. Salutes to David West and my Christian brothers and sisters out there in the faith. They have a different sort of biblical way of explaining it, which is I agree with, but it's not necessarily my way, and I think they both need to be shown. With that being said, to do that, I would need my own little stream with KP, and I'll be willing to take any questions and smoke at the end. If it is going to take me a while, like David Weiss said, not 10 hours though, David Weiss. Now, come on.
I'm going to take you over on that, by the way.
Okay. Bro, we all know that you stream for long periods of time.
That's right, but that's because I have, if you think about it, like we got 7 people on here. I have like 20 people on mine, and everybody want to talk, and they long-winded. So that's how that kind of go. But yeah, let's get into it. I didn't want to change the subject.
All right.
Do your thing, Sanchez. Let them know to the ancients that knew that we wasn't on no goddamn spinning ball. Let them know.
Yeah, to minister freedom, Allah, may I like your passion. I had it too. I said our ancestors ain't believing no doggone flat earth till I found out that it was actually their first teaching before we went into the globe. Even in school, they'll teach you that. If all of us went to school, they said that the ancestors were dummies, right? They thought the earth was flat, but lucky we know better today, right? So we know that the ancestors weren't globe earthers. We can just stop right there. Now, when you ask for proof that they were flat earthers, I'm willing to screen share right now.
All right.
So if we can see my screen share, let me know when we get that.
Yes,
Y'all
sir.
see that? All right. So what we're looking at here is something that the ancient Hebrew called the seven heavens. And actually the seven heavens ain't nothing but flat earth today. The brother want to know about ancient people. I'm going to the Hebrew because we know these are ancient people. We respect the Hebrew
real culture. Hebrew ain't an ancient civilization.
Wait a minute. I don't want to have an argument about who's a culture or not. I just want to show. Hold up. Wait a minute.
The Europeans, though, right?
They got me on now. If you're gonna let me talk, or it's gonna turn.
Let them finish building. Free.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to do one thing at a time. Ahead, if you want to see ancient people who subscribe to a flat earth, I can show you that. Any other dancing you doing is irrelevant. I just want to show you ancient people who subscribe to it.
Absolutely, bro. Because I know if I can get a chance to respond or say, build on it or whatever, however it go. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sanchez.
For sure, man. For sure, you talk, and it's gonna I got to do this slow. So here's one group called the Hebrews. They subscribe to the seven heavens. On the flat earth conception that I teach, it's based on the ancient Polynesians and Dogon, and it's actually the seven heavens that you see here, right? And it's spanning all around, just like we see here, a ripple effect is what we call it. They said life is a ripple effect. I want to show you Dogon cosmology. It was plagiarized by Plato. If you can see my screen here, on the top left corner, you have this Dogon altar. The Dogon altar is based on the seven heavens. It's 7 steps to this altar, 7 cities around Plato's Atlantis, 7 heavens in the Hebrew cosmos, 7 layers of the atmosphere science teaches about. I'm dealing with the atmosphere now. We got 7 candlesticks in the Jewish menorah relating to 7 chakras that we have, each chakra calibrated to the color of the heaven that it corresponds to. It's color coded. The 7 heavens here on the left is represented by the Jewish menorah and Kemetic Hathor right there on the right. If you want to deal with ancestors who knew about flat earth, he brought up the Dogon. The Dogon has something called a Kanunga, which is based upon their goddess called Amma, and it has nothing to do with no Nomo and nothing to do with no Sirius star system. The Dogon goddess Amma is personifying something called a hyperboloid, which is the center of magnetism. And it's not just the Dogon who had this goddess. I can show you a collage here of the Dogon, Kanunga, and goddess all over the world. And you can see the 2 balls around her. It's the sun and moon. And that represents the fact that the sun and moon are revolving around the North Pole, which is what the Dogon called Amma, the great mother. And the hyperboloid is basically an hourglass shape in science. Now, let me move deeper with this real quick. Hold on, I done lost my screen. There we go. Let me shut this down. I got a bunch of stuff open. So here we got the Dogon Kanunga. What happens is during the Dakar Djibouti missions, Western anthropologists went to interview the Dogon tribe to tell us what the Dogon teach, but we didn't get the teachings directly from the Dogon. So the teachings became corrupted, and that's what I'm about to show you now. Like I said, the stuff that I'm teaching, it is very lengthy, which is why I won't kill a priest to just, let me come back as soon as possible. The brother brought up, most definitely. So here's something else I want to add to the bill about.
You got any sources for what you're saying about the Dogon?
Let me finish first, brother. Hold on, let me finish, man. I just because I'm mid. lecture. The sources, like I said, Dakar Djibouti missions. If you never heard of the Dakar Djibouti missions, start there. That's going to take you about a week.
What it is, I actually pulled up a book.
I would just want to answer your question. I'm still answering you real quick.
Yeah.
Patience is a virtue, man.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, there are 7 steps to the 7 pyramids that we see around the world, guys, to the step pyramids. All of the step pyramids that we see around the world are basically subtle energy devices designed off of the flat earth. Let me show you a picture of what I mean. Here you go right here. All over the world, if you look at any step pyramid, it's 7 steps, and it's dealing with the 7 heavens, guys. This whole, everything I'm telling you right now about the nature of our universe and stuff, it's how energy is harnessed. Earth is an energy machine. It's a perpetual energy device. But that's another conversation I want to crawl with y'all before we walk. Basically, I'm showing him different interpretations of flat Earth all around the world, all the way down to the ancient Polynesian universe on the left. On the left, you got the Polynesian cosmos. And look, he brought up the Bantu people. They subscribe to flat Earth. I can show you their cosmology. The Babylons, everybody had the 7 heavens that the Hebrew had. And I'm showing you right here in the Polynesian cosmos, the exact same thing. If you look in the middle of this thing, this is actually where you get a tool that we use in math called a protractor from. Nut and Geb is not a solar system, by the way. I take it that the people on this call got respect for Egypt. We know that Geb ain't a balled up earth. So when you look at Nut arching over Geb being the earth god, if you look at the Ptolemaic plagiarized model, look at the earth right here at the bottom. And you see the sky is arched over it. The 5 stars is the outer layer right here. This is the old Ptolemaic universe. So check it out. This is when the earth was a ball, but they still wouldn't quite yet had the earth. The earth was still at the center of the universe, even though they balled it up. So this is still geocentric. Before this, the North Pole was at the center and the sun and moon ran around it. Now, I know I'm being long-winded, but I've been listening a lot and I got a lot to unpack, but I ain't got to unpack it all now, my brother, because guess what? If Killah Priest gonna let me come up with my own show, I can relax and let you go. I ain't got to unload it all now. Well, so, yeah.
You definitely going to get that. You're going to get that.
Can I get the source? Did you drop the sources already?
The sources from here's how it works. You want me to I'm trying to give you the sources right now. Now I could say a bunch of reputable authors for my sources, but everything I just gave you, I'm the author of my own research, meaning that sources are for people who don't do their own research. You have to use the research of someone else. You have to reuse their work as a source. If I'm in the field, you can use my field research as a source. If you Google Kemetic cosmology, I'll pop up because I'm a source of my own information. In this life, there are sources, and there's the opposite. There's people who need the source. Why would you ask an author of the book to give you the source? He's like, then you get my book. People source my book. Hold up. The people source my book for my information. It's blasphemous to tell me the source. How do you get the information directly with scientific methodology? Well, I can read the scientific method for you.
Well, God, and if can be, can I just respond in general, please?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm asking for sources, man, because I thought this was a scholarly occasion. Scholars, when you say something, you source where that material came from. You showed a lot of pictures. You showed a lot of infographics, a lot of memes that you've made. However, we haven't seen one reference to.
I can give you the sources,
bro. I just let you talk, fam. I just let you talk, bro.
Gotcha.
Let me talk. I ain't cut you off. I was trying to do the same thing, and y'all made me stop, and I did the knowledge. So just let me speak, fam. So I'm asking for sources because just like how I did when I quoted when the sister asked me where is they say that in the Quran, I provided the surah, the verse, and the chapter. When I was talking about the Dogon, because you spoke a lot about the Dogon earlier, in the book, The Pale Fox, which was written by one black archaeologist and one white archaeologist, they spent 15 years amongst the Dogon people interpreting their language and interpreting their science. So, you show pictures, but even like when I pulled up the image of Amma's egg and the description in The Pale Fox, the Dogons, they don't say that. They talk about something. When they talk about Amma's egg, and you can read this in The Pale Fox, and if y'all like, that's when I get to talk about sources. I'll give you the page number. So somebody else who's watching can go research for their own self and see if the information that you're talking is actually real, or is it just something that you made up? Because that's how a lot of this sounds. So like when we talk about, you spoke about the Babylonians and the Mesopotamians. If we go to and let me pull this up really quick so I can have this up. When we talk about sources, hold on, where we at? Yeah. So when we go, this is a Sumerian tablet. The Sumerian, out of the Enuma Elish, 143, that's in the British Museum, where they describe the position of the planets around the sun in perfect unison to where we are, where we show them and where we see them today. When we talk about, let me go over here to this screen. When we talk about the Babylonians, this is a reference from the understanding the Babylonian tablets and the language of the Babylonians. When this is actually I'm on this screen right here. From this Sumerian tablet and the Sumerian word syllables from their tablets, where they talk about the circumference line, the horizon line, the descending line. They describe the meridians, the latitude, the longitude. And for anybody who wants to know my source or my reference, this is the 12th letter by Zechariah. What's my man's name? I keep pronouncing
Zechariah Stitchin? That's who we're citing?
Yes.
That motherfucker for real?
Yeah, right.
Come on. This is that's nobody's source right there.
Can anybody
Thank you, Lord Jamar. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Zechariah Stitchin, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
We can arrange.
I agree so much with you.
But I'm trying
100%, Lord Jamar.
Y'all don't have no sources. That's what that is.
No, we got plenty of sources. This has nothing to do with curvature or nothing. You see the trick knowledge this man is using? We wasted 20 minutes worrying about sources, and yet he can't show and prove that there's a fucking curve.
And if you believe that Sha means circumference, then you must believe that freaking zombie.
What we do know,
Stephen Hawking was actually saying something when it was more just a programmed robot.
Shout out to Stephen Hawking, man. His birthday was just, he just had a birthday.
Very advanced. The Dogon, the Mesopotamians.
Let me say something about Amma's egg. I wanted to ask the brother something.
All life lives inside the egg, not outside the egg.
You quoted. I want the Hebrews are white. You talking about white?
Hey, wait a minute.
You're talking about the Jews, which goes back to my point that, like brothers like Lord Jamar, them move back to the mystery God. Y'all worship Christianity.
Fuck up, you pussy bitch.
Shut there, make me.
You believe in gravity. That's a mystery God, motherfucker. You believe in gravity, you little fucking
man, I gotta have a smoke for that.
You got minister in the front of your name. When the fuck are we talking about minister in the 5 to 6? You ain't got fucking you ain't got Doc Kim here to save you now, bitch. Shut the fuck up. You little 34
The idea was that
fucking video that nobody's watching. It got 1,000 views.
Not to have it overtaken
now we'll make you famous again, bitch.
That the black man is God, and this is Christianity. It is.
Yeah, Dave.
I'm not a Christian for the record.
All right, so you had this guy on for a 5-hour show the other day. I think
get him out of here.
Turn.
Yo, please.
Yeah,
please. Just like last time.
Can we have a real conversation?
Out of
because
here.
Karen and I are just sitting here. We're getting
this bum out of here.
All right, Dave.
Time for you to go, Minister Freedom.
No, it's Dave.
You know why? Because you're not important.
Are you talking about me? Or are you talking about Lord Jamar? because he was on for 5
hours. Talking about you,
Minister.
Minister, you talked for 5 hours on this show the other day with the same old nonsense and bullshit, and I just don't want to hear it. I heard your show the other day, and I came here this time to have an adult conversation.
Let's keep this. All right, let's keep it moving. Freedom.
I can't, and we ain't got to wait till no show and prove.
All right, Dave. All right, yeah. All right, Freedom. We're gonna build with you at another time. All right, it's Dave's show.
All right.
Hey, let me.
No. Yup, I had it again. Get out of here.
I got to, Lord. It's my show. I mean, it's a show. You know what I mean?
saying, God.
You out of here. We want to hear from David. It's David's show, not the minister.
No. It's Dave. You get your own show.
Misinfo.
He had his own show
right
just
there,
the other
y'all.
day.
You'll get your own.
I clicked on your channel. I watched all of his nonsense.
Listen, it's it's all good.
Info.
Hey,
Also,
Freedom. You'll get another. This is Dave's show, so it's Dave Weiss show.
It's always
trick knowledge.
Minister,
it's all good. Ass out of here.
Lord Jamar, if you want to see
dumb, you dumb, fake smart motherfucker. Get up out of here. Bye. What'd you say? What'd you say?
Because I want to drop
your ass on my worst day.
Minister Free, just hit me up.
Go read your Quran.
Killah Priest, this how you
smile.
Coming on the platform.
Hey, Priest, get him out of here.
Came on and you hijacked the show with your heliocentric nonsense. You hijacked it with nonsense.
Get him out of here.
Hit me up later.
Yeah, we'll talk to you later. All right, I'm gonna see you later. Fuck out of here.
Minister Freedom.
Don't make a show about me or some shit like that.
I
That's
got
what you do best. That's what you do best. Don't talk shit about me.
It's his show.
Get him out of here, please. Now.
Don't forget to get my app.
Get him out of here.
Only one boss sources.
Minister of misinformation.
Because we still got no, it's all good.
Oh my Lord!
All right, Dave.
All right.
Yeah, I feel so much better.
That's all I needed.
So Jamar, don't go anywhere. I like you.
I'm not. I love you.
Man.
Matter of fact,
Lord Jamar too.
I didn't even realize.
Meeting you.
I didn't even realize that the Flat Earth app was your app. I have that app. And that is a great fucking app.
Man.
But yeah, so now we got great Flat Earth heavy hitters. I wanted to say, Brother Sanchez is somebody that I really was watching in the beginning of learning about all this. Like, he spoke my Flat Earth language. Like, he broke it down in a way that I could understand, to make understand and understood. And trust me, just like anybody else, I got into this striving to disprove it. I thought it was ridiculous.
We all did. We all had the same story.
And I'm like, just like the rest of these motherfuckers that think, watch this. I'm just going to disprove this in 5 minutes. And then guess what? When you really do the knowledge, because knowledge is to look, listen, observe, also to respect. Something that a lot of these motherfuckers that claim to be 5%ers are not doing. You know why? Because just like Mr. Laffy Rasul over there he goes laughing again.
Man. Ain't nobody thinking about you, man.
I see
I'm laughing
you,
at something else. I'm laughing at something else. Stop calling me out my name, bro. Ain't anybody paying attention to you.
Anyway, sure you are.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, it's like you're supposed to do the knowledge to the information that's being presented. These people think they have the answer before the information is even being presented, and that's what's disrespectful. Like, do the knowledge for real. Stop thinking that you got this shit all figured out. They taught you this shit in 3rd grade for a reason, so that you think it was a done deal. But then when I, just like anybody else, thought about, hang on, what do I really know about this globe shit? I didn't know as much as I thought I knew. And that's where the study has to come in. And just because we don't have answers to every little thing, what's it anchored to, this and that. Listen, I'd rather have questions that I can't answer than answers that can't be questioned. Okay? And a lot of you motherfuckers don't want to question certain things, especially people in the 5% nation.
What kind of weed you smoking, Lord?
It's very this is called unicorn piss.
Unicorn piss, huh?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, some unicorn piss. gas.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a lot of people feel threatened by this because it has a lot of ramifications, a lot of symbolic ramifications to a lot of things. But we got to go where truth takes us, man, and stop. It's facts over feelings, man. Stop being emotional. And let me just also say, it is the burden of proof of people on the globe to prove what you're talking about. Stop acting like you don't have a burden of proof.
Y'all ain't proved nothing, though.
You have a burden of proof to show and prove that we are on a spinning ball. Don't act like it's a done deal, and that all the burden is on us.
We don't have to prove anything.
Yes, you do.
No, because you're the one who's coming to challenge the knowledge, so you have to prove.
No.
You're challenging the knowledge, so you have to show and prove.
Y'all have
That's all that goes without a shadow of a doubt.
I've shown
y'all haven't been
It's the same thesis. I'm bringing it back to the thesis. Our main thesis is that there is no curvature. The proof of flat Earth
is curvature.
That's it.
We are not spinning.
Yes.
There is no curvature.
Not on a spinning ball.
The proof
There's no measurable curvature.
I don't know how far, but it's not 93 million miles away. I'll tell you that.
The proof of flat Earth is the lack of evidence to prove otherwise.
You don't know.
You don't know.
I would love to get
You don't know.
The burden of proof.
Let me say a couple things. Let me say a couple things.
I love to get into some flat Earth proof.
There's three baskets things fall into. There's three baskets. One works on a flat Earth. The other one works on a flat Earth and a globe Earth. And the third basket, which nothing ever falls into, is only works on a globe Earth. Okay? A globe Earth requires a physical curvature. As my friend Austin says, if a pregnant woman, draws her finger down her belly over her navel, as it goes below her navel, he can't see his finger anymore because it goes underneath the curvature. There's a physical curvature there. And if she zooms in with a camera, she still can't see below her belly because there's physical curvature. On a flat Earth, we're talking about perspective.
That's if she was in the same perspective size of her belly. That's the way that science works, bro. Come on now.
When you're looking over a ball, there has to be physical curvature. On a flat plane, it has to do with the angular resolution of your eyes. It has to do with the atmospheric conditions, the density of the air, a whole bunch of things. But it's a apparent horizon. Last thing I'll say: a 6 foot tall person standing on a 24,901 mile ball, standing at the edge of water, should see a physical horizon at 3 miles because there's a 6 foot drop at 3 miles. Okay. He should not be able to see the surface of the water beyond that, but we see water far beyond that. We can zoom in, see it for dozens of miles. With infrared, we can see it for hundreds of miles. So there is no curvature. So prove we live on a ball. I just proved that we live on something that's flat.
No, you didn't prove anything, bro.
Yes, because there's no proof of curvature.
Making claims, yo.
There's no claim of that.
All these claims, yeah, but you didn't.
We can see too far. You make a claim that we live on a ball 24,000 miles.
You showed your theories about it.
No, we don't. No.
Nothing.
Your claim of a ball.
Don't say y'all because I wasn't able to
see
speak
farther.
Don't say y'all.
Okay.
I ain't able to speak.
Brother Sanchez.
Let Brother Sanchez.
Brother Sanchez speak. Come on.
We've got a lot of new information that a lot of us haven't heard here yet. And just maybe, if you just open your mind, just maybe you can learn something today.
But see, the thing is, David, I don't want you to feel like I'm taking over your show, but I literally joined because you were making good arguments about the curvature. I just think that sometimes they probably need a different perspective. This is my favorite way of learning what's going on. If we're saying that the ship that's passing over this curve right here on my picture, I'm sure y'all can see my screen share. Mm-hmm. The ship is disappearing at that same line that the sun is. So let's examine them both, shall we? They say that you can see the ship vanishing from the bottom up. Yes, and we can see that a quarter on a table, and I'm going to show you this real quick. If you take a quarter and put it on the table, let's zoom in. This is a simple, when you can reduplicate the shit is science. Excuse my language. Science is about I can reduplicate something I see outside in my house. So I can put this quarter on a table and move it away from me and it'll vanish from the bottom up, just like the sun does from the bottom up. Now let's talk about the ship that's vanishing from the bottom up. If a car going over hill, you're right, it vanishes from the bottom up, just like it will go over the curb. I give you guys that. The problem is we don't see the butt of the ship lift up, because check it out. When the ship vanished from the bottom up, it vanished just like this quarter does, with the horizon gradually vanishing that thing from the bottom up. If you was to get in a boat and follow the sun, the bottom part of the sun that's been hidden by the horizon will come back into view, which is why I pull up this quarter on the table thing, because check it out. If the sun, the ship, and the airplane were going over a curve, we'll see the belly of the plane. If you ever saw the plane vanish on the horizon when it takes off on the ocean line or wherever, like the ship, we never see the plane nose dive to go over the curve. You know, it would be following the natural Earth atmosphere on the globe. As you can see, not only is the water balling up, but the sky is too. So the plane and the ship, when they both vanish on the horizon at the same time, just like that car, we should see the belly. We should see the butt stick up. If a ship fall over this waterfall, which is what we're talking about now, we're talking water falling in a 360 fall all around the globe, but it's not being able to fall out into space. We know the science to that. We know about gravity, which we'll talk about later. But what I'm pointing out here is that if a ship is literally going over curved water, which is what this is, right? We would see the butt of that. We will see the booty of that ship go up in the air, and we'll be able to tell you the words written on the bottom of that ship as the nose point down toward the curve is going down. We don't see ships vanish that way. They vanish just the way the quarter on the table do, just the way the sun do. We never see the bottom of the ship kick up in the sky and the nose tilt down. And the people on the ship would definitely feel that, I'm sure, if they sit down, you know. So, I mean, I can keep going with this, but the fact that I can zoom back in on a ship and pick it back up shows me it's not hidden by a ball of water. Right? Showing me that I will be zooming in on a big ball of curved water blocking the sun or blocking the ship. I wouldn't be able to zoom in on something hidden by a physical barrier. The fact that we can zoom in on it, we're looking at something called vanishing point, also called convergence. In flat Earth, we don't talk curvature, we talk convergence. Things converge on a horizon at a point because you can't see forever. That's it. You can't see forever. We don't live on a ball. We see our reality through balls.
Oh, my God.
Through eyeballs. So everything will converge at the point right where the pupil is in our reality. So it is just me rushing through this real quick in a nutshell. We don't see the ship tilting over. I think the quarter on the table is awesome explaining this phenomena. And I'll yield the flow from there.
Bro, let me just jump in here. Things disappear from the bottom up for several reasons. One, we had the waves, which I mentioned, but it's the angular size. Something down lower has a lower angular size than the top floor. Here's just a simple picture of some Army guys where you can see their bases, but when you zoom out, half their legs disappear. And there's no atmospheric issues here. There's no waves in front of them. The example you were showing with the coin, same thing here. There's a matchbox on the table. Its angular size is too small. It's also miraging into the table a little bit. And when we zoom in and increase its angular size, there it is. Now, when I zoom out, it disappears. Now, if I raise my angle of attack on them, I'm increasing its angular size, and there it is. And now I can see the table that goes beyond it to the edge, right? And so here's an example of the waves. Imagine you weren't zoomed in on this boat and you're looking at it from far away. The whole back deck of this boat is underwater. It's missing, right? Now, a glober would say, oh, that's because it's behind the curve. But when you zoom in, not only can you see that this is just a wave, you can see water that goes for miles and miles and miles beyond it. When you zoom out, you can barely even see this boat. And then when you can see it, half of it's missing. This is just because the water is undulating, right? The small wave, as I showed you earlier, this blocks my whole face, but when it's closer to me, it's much smaller.
Wow.
There you go. I'll yield to Karen. You want to say something?
We got a super chat here from Elastic. He says there is no time lapse video of 24 hours of sun in Antarctica. There is no South Star. The internet is underwater and satellites are helium balloons. Wow. David Barnes says I'm not a flat earther, but I've seen a video of China launching an artificial sun and it looked like ours, and it wasn't. Right. It wasn't millions of miles away.
Did you see that artificial sun they launched? And what was that artificial sun that they launched made of? Plasma.
Wow.
That turned
out to be plasma. Where do you think they got that idea from?
How about this? You know, we're told that all these satellites are falling around the Earth. Remember, the Earth is corkscrewing through infinite space, and these satellites somehow mirror all of those motions, which is absolutely ridiculous. But if you think about the size of a satellite, it's about the size of a jet engine. That's probably an average satellite, right? Here's a 747. Here's the engines. Here's a 747 at cruising altitude. Can you see the engines on that? No, you can barely see the airplane, and satellites are 100, 200 times farther, right? And people believe that light that they're seeing in the sky is a satellite. When we look up in the sky and we see lights, the absolute only honest thing that we can say 100% sure is that they're lights. That's it. We don't know what they are. We don't know where they are. We can have all sorts of theories. We can maybe, come to a strong opinion, but they're lights. We don't know anything else. We see a plane. We can determine what that plane is because we've been able to see that plane. We know how big it is. We know all about it. We know where it is. We have information. But when we see Saturn, yeah, we know where Saturn is, but we don't know what it is. We don't know how big it is. We don't know how far it is. We don't know anything about it. They're all named after gods. I find that very interesting. All of the wandering stars, which they now call planets.
I want to say something real fast. I want to touch on this subject y'all was talking about as far as when I said earlier that, about Beverly Hills and why you can't oversee the Sepulveda Pass. Now I'm going to show you something else. Now, earlier you said that the ocean itself is what you guys, the flat earthers, use to determine whether, the earth have a curvature or not. Yet you also said earlier, you also said earlier that water always what?
Finds its level.
It always finds its level.
Large bodies of water at rest find its level.
Find its level.
At rest. Remember the at rest part.
Okay. Now, what you're not taking in consideration is the surface of the ocean. You're looking at the wrong thing. No, listen.
No, that's all we're taking.
Let me finish what I'm saying. You're looking at something that's always going to level itself off, as opposed to looking at what's actually the surface of the earth itself, because that's what we're speaking on. We're not speaking on whether the earth is this or that or whatever. We're speaking on the earth itself. So if you're trying to use these telescopes to determine certain things over a body of water and talking about, well, there's no curve in the water is going to always level itself out. But you don't know if the surface of the earth, that's where the water is actually on top of, is curved or not, do you?
See, first of all,
doesn't water take the shape of a container?
Exactly. And
water
second
doesn't
of all,
take the shape of the bottom of a container. It
all water needs a container.
It levels itself out, but it fills up the container and then it finds level. So if the water's flat, the container must be flat.
You're mistaking. See, you guys mistake the fact of things being bumpy or like the container having like shape inside of it and like and you're trying to call that curve. That's not curve. There's mountains on our what we're calling a flat earth. Like it's cavernous, it goes up and down, but we're saying overall it's level. Overall it's level. Even if it is a ball, we're saying that we're on the inside of the ball, not on the outside. And that it would be impossible for the water to stick to the outside of the ball as it spins 1,000 miles an hour. And that's just the spin.
And
then it's
Neil,
rotating around the sun, and then it's chasing the sun. Like, come on.
Neil deGrasse says that bulges 14 miles high at the equator. That means if I'm flying from New York to South America, at some point my plane has to triple its height just to skim over that hump. Because a plane flies at about 5 miles high, 14 miles high. I got to almost triple my height to skim over a ball. That never happens. Airplanes fly straight and level over the earth plane. Airplane, earth plane, period.
And I think a lot of times they look for features on the flat horizon line to say it ain't flat. Like I'm sitting in front of a flat desk. You can put mountains, you can put all kinds of stuff on top of it because it's flat. If I was sitting that on a ball, it'll roll off, which is the argument we got with the water that they don't want to talk about. That water would sit fine in the ball, and just like the Hebrew cosmos that I couldn't wait to pull up is filled halfway with water and the other half with air.
But let me ask you a question. I'm just the reason why I say that because I just wanted to say, if I put water right in the cup, right, which is one of the what I'm trying to scientifically say to y'all. If I put water in the cup, right, the cup water at the top is always going to even itself out. Now the actual bottom of the cup can be any shape or form. Am I correct?
But see,
hold on. Just let me ask you a question, girl. Hold on, Sanchez. Hold on, one second. Just answer my question. Am I correct?
I'm trying to.
Am I correct?
I'm saying
yes, the bottom of the cup can be. What is that? What is your point?
My point is that the bottom of the cup can be any shape or form. Am I correct?
But it's what the cup is resting on that's going to matter.
You're not getting what I'm saying, Lord.
But if the cup was the shape of a ball, would it hold water? If the cup was the shape of a ball, would it hold water, though?
So my thing is like, we're talking about
great
water.
question, Karen.
Hold on.
Y'all still ain't answering my question. I asked y'all a question. Nobody answered it.
The cup can be any shape but a ball to hold water if you really want to know the answer to that question.
It can have what's the point? It can have many different shapes, the bottom of the cup. What does that
mean?
That's
what I'm trying to deal with it. So this what it means. Let me give them the point. I'm going to answer you, my brother. I agree with you that the bottom of the cup will have whatever shape the cup have, but we're dealing with the surface level of the cup. When we go to the ocean, we're not looking at the bottom of the ocean. We're looking at the top level where it would be. So one more thing, and I'm going to end with this. If you're a globalist, you shouldn't be talking about water in a cup. You should be talking about water on a cup. If you want to be more accurate with water on a globe and not in a globe. Shouldn't be saying nothing about in nothing if you're a globalist, by the way.
First of all, I can say anything that I want to say if it wants to make a particularly point about
That's true.
what
I was
I'm
just
trying to say. You know what I'm saying? I mean, using your analysis, because I give you an example. I got 160 acres of land, right? When I make a lake on there, right?
Congratulations, by the way.
When I make a lake on my land, right, it doesn't have to be in a cup-shaped form. All it has to do is have borders at the sides of it where the levels of ground are higher.
Exactly. Antarctica is the highest level continent, quote unquote, that they say. They say that the mountains are the highest, but the top mile of it is just ice. So they say that's why they say they don't count it as the highest peaks on Earth, but it is the highest level of land.
Like, give you an example. If we just taking the lake theory again, at the bottom of the lake, the lake can be any form. And in fact, you can have a whole hole at the bottom of a lake that goes down 50 feet, and still the surface of the water itself over the lake will still remain the same.
Exactly.
That's the point we make. That's why we're on level.
Because even though the bottom of the lake might be different shapes, what it's resting on is level. That's why the water is going to appear level. If it was curved, see, you're not proving. I hear what you're saying, but that doesn't prove that we're on a curved surface. That just means.
Let me ask you a question. When you go into deeper depths of water, doesn't the water curve? Doesn't the earth curve?
No.
Hold on. When you go down into deeper levels of water, the earth is curving down. Am I correct?
No, that's not.
Are you talking about the slope from sea level to below sea level?
That's a slope, really, ain't it?
But that's not okay.
That's a curve, right?
Is that making the ball shape? I don't understand how that relates
over
to
thousands of miles. It would.
Well, but that's the wrong way. That's the wrong direction.
Plane.
If you're going from sea level to down in the ocean, that's the wrong way.
This is
right. This
has become. Y'all talking about the surface of water and it's always level, but that's not the earth itself. We talking about the earth. We're not talking about the surface of water. Talking about the earth is curvy.
The water would not be able to be level if it was on a curve. What do you not understand?
That's what he's
so
not
when you're looking across an extensive plain of water where there should be miles of curvature, and you can see the land at the other side of the other side of the ocean, which is at the same level that you're at, and there now we're talking an expanse on the ball, on the earth on your ball. How come the land on the other side of the ocean is at the same level that we're at? It should be miles below me, but it's not. It's so simple. It's so simple. I don't know how people cannot see it, other than they've been programmed since they've been a child, and their inner child is like, don't take my ball away. Don't take my ball away, please. Okay?
Those balls.
It's hard to admit that you've been lied to your whole life, too.
Your entire life you've been lied to, and you are fighting.
I would like to see y'all go get in the ocean and just walk across the bottom floor of the ocean. You can't do it. You got to go get ships and submarines to go to the bottom curve of the ocean.
What the hell are you talking about?
Come on.
All right, let's move on to some questions.
Let's have Bro Sanchez show us what he's going to show right here.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I got some for him. So when we say sea level, we say it based on the surface of the sea, not the bottom of it. That's just a fact. That the surface is dealing with the face. You see the word face in surface, not sir bottom or sir, it's dealing with the.
Now you're just trying to use words and stuff.
Hold on, wait a minute. I'm telling you that. Wait a minute. Listen, I just stuck this
words.
Disrespectful, man. I gotta use words to talk. Can I use the words?
Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead.
Don't use words, Bro Sanchez.
Yeah, I gotta use words. I'm sorry, bro. Now check this out, man.
I'll allow it.
So check this out, bro. I'm showing you something. A compass on a globe is based on a flat face that we're walking on, and the compass is pointing toward the center where the North Pole is, like the hole in the middle of a CD disc. We know that. But the thing is, when a ship is sailing on top of the ocean, it needs to know that. So that's what the importance of the sea level, not going and arguing about the bottom part, because check this out, we traverse the surface of the earth. And that's the whole argument we having, basically the shape of the surface. That's why I mentioned if you put objects on a desk, it don't change the shape of the surface of the desk. It just introduce a new object on the skyline. That's all. But compasses couldn't work on a globe. If they did, they can only work at the top. Compasses are used in water the same way the sea is. The fact that the water will always find its level, we create something called a level based on this same thing we arguing, right? And guess what? A level, if you think about it, how would it act at the bottom of a globe, on the side of it? It would really only work at the top of the globe, which means it has to be upright. We living on a flat plane and everything is standing upright. People ain't under you pointing down and they sky, sticking off the side. Is one up for everybody.
Which is why believes that there's no up and down on a globe, that we're looking at it wrong.
Yeah, I don't believe in. I believe in space. There is space. In space, there is no up and down.
That's retarded.
There shouldn't be, but they tell you that the solar system is flat when they show it to you. It's all orbiting in a flat disc shape.
That's hilarious.
I'm so glad.
Right?
How is that hilarious? And y'all say that the Earth is a flat disc shape?
No, because you're acting like it's so crazy for our planet to be that way. But then that's how they're showing you the solar system.
Watch this, Lord,
all I'm doing is this is what I'm doing. Then let me speak on what you were saying, Sanchez.
Hold up, though.
Let me finish. Okay, you want to go ahead? Go continue, Bill. Go ahead.
Look, y'all, we talking about the Earth. I'm glad Karen brought up the fact that the Milky Way is flat. So if you can believe in the flat Milky Way, you definitely can believe in the flat Earth. In fact, the Milky Way is literally the flat Earth. They just flipping us inside out. Now, what I'm showing here, and I yield the floor, this is literally a map of the universe. They're saying that our universe is basically everything flat earthers been telling you it is. The cosmic egg right here. We live inside of it. This would be the horizon line in the middle, So this is the whole flat. When you zoom out, if we wanted to debate what's the shape of space, they would come right back to the flat earth truth. And it'll be that we live inside of a terrarium, enclosed system, because people don't bring up the fact that if this is the map of space, why is everything inside of this living on the surface of its egg, like the brother said, but in totality, everything inside of the egg? When we be on the surface of this with a north and south pole,
that's not the whole map of the universe. No, that's just what they can see.
I got you. Check this out though. Here's what I'm saying. If you think they can see all this, we in trouble. That's the problem.
Okay.
We in trouble. That's what I'm saying. So what they do know is what the Hebrews knew. Because if I pull up the ancient cosmos right here, this is all they giving you. This is the real truth. They just giving it to us in another way. If you pull up a globe, I'm going to show you something else to give them, y'all, for the arsenal on flat Earth. They said we got ley lines on the globe with lines of longitude, lines of latitude is what I call them. But they ain't really lines, they circles. You can only have magnetic ley lines on a flat Earth. Ley lines, not ley circles. Each of these are circles. And that's the problem with the word sea level. Everybody based the knowledge off of a flat Earth. The brother left earlier, but his last name, Allah or whatever, I was going to show him how the whole Mecca cube is basically the flat Earth. If you look at Mercator's map with the black stone in the middle, and then all
that, and the people revolve around it.
Right, like the flat Earth rings here in Mecca. There we go. So he had the Allah in his name. I wanted to go here with him, but yeah, I'm gonna fall back.
Okay,
yeah, that was Mr. Sources.
No doubt.
That map right there, the blue one you show, that's the craziest one, because the fact that those even exist as a theory is possible that it actually exists in real time, and we're talking other suns orbiting.
Hey, watch
you guys
this.
You guys gotta read the Iron Republic or listen to the video on YouTube about people that found lands out there in the 1800s. You gotta check it out. It's a great story. Whether it's true or not,
that's the land. That's the land over the ice wall.
Listen to the world. Extraterrestrial.
Check it out.
Check the land.
Okay.
Check it out, right? I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna fall back. Here go. You said you like this map. I like this one too. You know what's gonna back this up? Because he wanted me to bring up the ancients. Here go the Mayan calendar, what I call the Mayan universe. This is based on a flat Earth, different worlds around us. They say that our Earth is surrounded in the solar system and it's different balls on their own elliptical orbit. Really, it's plane nets. They are netted planes. Each of these planes have their own net over them. And I want to thank y'all for allowing me to get this out. I'm actually going to.
Do you think one thing I can say, y'all have a vivid imagination.
I wonder.
No, listen.
Go ahead.
Let me finish, though.
You do.
That's the Mayan calendar, brother. That's not the depiction of the universe, brother. That's the Mayan calendar.
Y'all, can I
with
please?
a depiction of the sun in the center, actually.
Out of respect.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because what it is
you gotta let us speak too, though, Lord.
But look, if I start a screen share, you can't get ahead of me with what I'm sharing. I feel you. That's why you gotta let me go. You see what I'm saying?
Go ahead, just go on, Sanchez. We're listening.
Got you. You call this the Mayan calendar. But the Mayans didn't call this a calendar. This was a series of calendars within calendars, from the short count to the long count. The Mayan was said to be time travelers because of this image I'm showing, because they was keeping time on worlds beyond ours. Today, they said those are just mythological worlds, and the Mayan were tripping. But when you look at maps like this, what we're finding out today with the flat Earth research, if there are planes around us, like old map maker said, they said that these planes got their own sun and moon, and it take their sun and moon longer to make a year than if you see the smaller circles. This turns into the whole modern solar system of the gas giants on the outside taking so long to make them years, right? But it's all coming from here. According to the Mayan said you can travel to these lands. They claim to have done it, so much so that they made a mapping system to keep the time in other lands beyond. Each of these rings represent one of those other lands, and it's rotating in its own sort of speed, representing these different suns and moons.
And NASA says our solar system is flat. They say our solar system is flat because it's the only way they can make it work. It has to be flat because it's going over a flat plane. All of the largest telescopes in the world are in the outer southern lands, and they're looking out south.
Yes.
They're not looking up. They're looking out. Okay?
Hey, David Weiss, can I add to that, my good brother? We actually showing him. So when he said that about the sky, if you think about it, it's called a zodiac wheel, not the zodiac spear. It's called a natal chart. And if you look at the natal chart, it's a wheel above a flat earth, just like we said on my screen. Listen, the brother who brought up this zodiac chart, zodiac wheel, you will need another one of these for the bottom part of the globe. And it will be a whole nother set of constellations for people down there, and their birthdays and constellations will be different set than ours. Just hear me out right here. If you were standing on the bottom of a globe, you will look down and see different constellations than the people at the top, which means we will have a zodiac globe around us. And the people at the bottom will have a different set of animals than the people at the top, but we all share one wheel above this flat earth.
The wheels in the sky keep on turning. The zodiac wheel is spinning slightly faster than the sun wheel, and that's going faster than the moon. The sun laps the moon every 28 days. The zodiac laps the sun once a year, and that's why the sun falls back into each zone, each zodiac sign for about a month. It makes perfect sense. All the stars, sun, moon, everything rises in the east, sets in the west, no matter where you are on this flat plane. But NASA tells you the moon goes one way, the stars rotate another way. All the stars rise in the east, set in the west. I don't care if you're in Africa, Santiago, the North Pole, doesn't matter. Rise in the east, set in the west.
Okay, going beyond knowing that it's flat, the next intermediate question would be like, if there's 7 heavens, there may be 7 planes, possibly.
Yes.
And
that's it.
Yeah, I want to talk about that because what's possibly out there, maybe that's where the extraterrestrials go. Maybe that's where the UFOs are coming from. Maybe those are interdimensional pathways to get to those 7 heavens. Maybe that's heaven itself when we hit the next layer. Maybe that's, I don't know, the multiverse, if you will. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, making
and
stuff now.
that's it. To my understanding, whoever that was speaking, that's exactly what the ancestors were. The Mayan were saying that in each of these 7 realms, we're there. Let me show you something real quick before we go any further, because this is the part that actually gets deep. Am I still screen sharing?
Yeah. See, I'm learning something now here.
There's something called a human chakra layers. Mm-hmm. This is actually the secrets of Saturn. We're Saturn. We're the Lord surrounded with the rings around us, the chakra layers.
Yeah.
According to the Maya, each of these chakra layers is a whole nother you in a whole nother universe. And the color of the chakra layer is color coded with the color of that version of you in. So
that makes such perfect sense that our souls are in the heavens above. We're here in this meat suit having this physical experience down in this chakra layer, and then there's less dense layers above us and maybe more dense ones below us.
7 chakras, 7 ethers. It makes sense. ODD did a video on the 7 chakras, 7 ethers, just the 7 concept of what I'm going here to go deeper, man. Salutes to Karen and deep in the rabbit hole, and especially Lord Jamar, Reality, KP. I got to always thank you for having me.
That means Earth itself has its own chakra system.
There you go. And we're connected to it. Each of the Earth chakras is calibrated to one of your chakras, and that universe lives. In other words, when we dream, we don't have to be born into a dream. Your consciousness leave the body in the bed and go right into the dream body, and no one got to tell it who it is or nothing. They got a whole nother history in the dream separate from the guy in the bed. And if you asked about the history of the guy in the bed in the dream, they don't know it till they wake up in this reality. Then they remember their history here. But in a dream, you don't remember who you are here. You remember where you was born at in that reality. So the Mayans said we weren't just born into one universe. We were born into 7 of them, and we actually got to be born out of 7 of them. But I ain't finna go deep religious, spiritual with you too much. What I can prove is that we are multidimensional. And if you ask me how many dimensions make up the human, 7.
It all correlates with everything that we've learned.
Can anyone speak to the science of like air pressure and the fact that we couldn't even have a pressurized like atmosphere if there was no covering, like you
can't have pressure next
being
to
exposed to an endless
pressure
vacuum
without
state.
something to press against.
Exactly. Think of a pressure cooker. Like it has to have a top. Like it can't have no endless vacuum of space that it's just open to. Like we would not have an atmosphere if we did not have a covering. And these so-called Van Allen belts and all those are not the fucking covering. Like that's not the covering, even though they're almost trying to create a dome without saying there's a fucking dome.
They just put that as kind of like an invisible fence to hold us here.
That's the invisible dome.
They made it up. They made it up.
And you know what? Those Van Allen belts, in my opinion, it's going back to the question the brother asked earlier. Where's the ancient conceptions of our universe? Look at here, guys. Another Hebrew version that's aligning up with all the ones we sent. These are the Van Allen belts to the ancients.
Could you tell me where you got that picture from, sir?
Right. Here's the ancient Mesopotamia.
Tell me where you sourced that picture from.
There you go, Jamar. And that's what it is. That's what they're going to say.
That's that trick knowledge right there. When niggas start doing shit like that. It's a fuck. I'm showing you the fucking the ancients. This is a lot of these are descriptions of what the ancients. It's just not always an actual artifact from the.
This what's gonna kill them, no, Jamar. When they scrutinize my pictures, then I just go to architecture. Here go to architecture, flat Earth architecture. Hey, here go to Jainism. Here go to Jain's people cosmos. The ancient Jain people said we live in a ripple effect system like what you see here, guys. Look at that. And then look at the artwork we see there. So we could do more than just images. We could go with architecture too.
And where did you source that from? Where's that picture from?
Right.
Just wondering.
He want to know my sources. This right here is
I
from.
want to know.
That's the U.S. Capitol, Jamar, and the top of that is the 7 heavens that they saying where my source is at. For the ancient Hebrews believing in this. Now, man, this is just I want to step.
You know that Capitol building was here before Christopher Columbus supposedly discovered America. Think about that.
One great thing is that all of the
buildings might have been here before.
all of this is great to learn, and I'm glad people are opening to this. But at the same time, I think the better message that we're all getting, no matter what model we're subscribing to, is that we need to explore frequencies within these 7 chakras. We need to find out how to increase our energy so that we are in tune with nature and the way. Whoever created this is intended to be. There's something. All this talk of 7 and the chakras and the energies. We need to explore what that energy is. How do we align with that? How do we get ourselves in the mindset to?
And that's part of why they don't want you to know about this, because it disconnects you from all of it.
Guys, that's exactly it. People that actually start exploring this, they're like, things just start working out for them. This world is a magical place. They don't want us to know that the universe, for lack of a better word, is conspiring to give you everything that you think about. So if you're thinking about negative things, you're going to get it. It's going to come to you. If you're thinking about positive things, it's going to come to you. The elite know this. They know how to work this. They know how the system works.
But if you know that, you're going to learn about free energy. And you're not going to rely on anyone else, and you're going to be self-sustained.
That guy,
and that's another thing they don't want to happen.
Whoever just said that, look at the screen share. You right where I'm at with it.
Oh, there it is.
Goes. This is like technology for some subtle energy device. And if you look at the step pyramids and stuff, like here's Mayan artwork that I just found that you can find Native American sites or whatever. I found this one and it didn't really make sense until I saw this image. And I was like, yo, this is technology our ancients were using. And this is another reason why flat Earth is important, because if the Earth is a huge energy generator, what the secrets of the man would only unlock the secrets of energy when he find out what the Earth is. Because if the earth is an energy generator, man won't begin to generate energy till he reverse engineer the earth. And if that's what we find out with flat earth, is that ultimately what we're looking at is a huge torus field, and that's the secrets of all energy generation.
And this is what we need to study. This is where our focus should be, regardless of our interpretation of the earth. This frequency and all of this knowledge is powerful because it's our future and it's inevitable. So if we're not doing it now, someone's going to do it in the future.
What's also important is to understand why, that the extent that they'll go to lie.
Yeah.
Like the lies didn't just start in the history books. See, we as black people think, oh, they lied to us about certain things. Did you think that it just stopped in history? We in the 5% nation say, oh, they were hiding the fact that the black man is God. This is part of them hiding it. And we don't understand that. And we don't want to come to grips with it because we've been indoctrinated and we don't want to admit that we took a lot of this knowledge on face value. Actual facts and solar facts. When we learned that, how did we verify it? We went to a goddamn encyclopedia or some shit. And that, oh shit, it does 196,940,000 square miles. Oh wow, that is right. Nobody actually did any real calculations. You took it on face value. You didn't know about people like Aristarchus and all of that came up with these calculations and shit like that. So knock it off. Let's keep it real. Now we fucking bringing you this knowledge, show and prove, or shit and get off the pot. But stop being so abstinent about it.
I just showed and proved though, Lord. I just showed and proved though.
Y'all didn't show and prove nothing.
I did show and prove.
Y'all didn't show and prove nothing.
Can I say what I was saying? Hold on,
show and prove what?
Can I speak again and we'll just break it down real simple again. Earlier I said that when you look over the regular terrain, you can't tell it's a curve because there's too many mountains, hills, and valleys, correct? So you guys said yes. So we have to use. Let me finish. You said we have to use the ocean because the ocean itself will show and prove your theory that there is no curvature. Correct? Yeah. Okay. So then I said that I said,
on the land,
let me finish. Can I finish, Lord? I just sit here and listen to you for 20 minutes. Can I just give 3 minutes?
Go ahead.
Thank you, God. So. When you guys were showing that you was using the ocean because the ocean was showing proof to you guys that the earth does not have no curvature on it because constantly, as far as you can see, you guys use what you call atmospheric density. So therefore, the image is always straight and you can always see forward because of the simple fact that the water is going to always level itself out. And that being that we both said that the water is going to always level itself out, no matter how far you look, there would never be no curvature because you're looking at the wrong thing. You're looking at the surface of the ocean as opposed to the bottom of the ocean. Let me finish. Okay, so the bottom of the ocean is where the actual curvature is because the bottom of the ocean is the actual land. You're looking at something that's going to always level itself out being water as opposed to what we're actually supposed to be looking at, which is the actual. Let me finish what I'm saying. Can I finish? Thank you.
Yeah.
And this is how we know this to be true. If your theory that you say that we're using the surface of the water as a point to show that the earth isn't curved, well, how can you use the surface of the water if the surface of the water is going to always level itself out? You're looking at the wrong thing. What you're supposed to be looking at is the surface of the earth, because the surface of the earth, which is the bottom of the ocean, is the actual thing that's curved.
You know what the bottom of the ocean looks like? Please, you show and prove, because all we can do is see with the level of the surface, like the God said, the surface.
Come on, man. Let me have this.
Let me finish. I've been out to sea before. I'm out here in California. I've been out to sea before.
You've been at the bottom of the ocean.
I've been out to sea before. And one thing, and let me finish what I'm saying. Let me continue on your bill. I've been out to sea before, and I know for a fact that if I jump out the ship right? I'm going to drown. Why? Because the ocean is deep. And being that the ocean is deep and it holds all kinds of wildlife and animals and whales and sharks that I've seen before, I know for a fact that looking over the surface of the ocean does not show you the surface of the ocein.
All right, are you done?
Wait, what?
Let me
Please,
everybody,
you don't know
mute.
how
Everybody
nonsensical
mute.
you sound.
Everyone mute.
I'm sure.
Listen, no offense, dude, but that is the dumbest shit I have ever heard, ever.
Like, seriously.
Anywhere.
Like,
that
seriously.
is so freaking dumb.
Wow.
They tell us that the 70%
Wow.
of the Earth's surface is water. So you believe that the water goes flat for 70%, and then all of a sudden the Earth bends underneath? We
Yeah, at
can
the
sit
bottom.
here.
There's no
and
such thing as all of a sudden the Earth bends underneath. The Earth don't all of a sudden bend nowhere.
I could look
You're
at
right.
land
It don't bend nowhere.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can dig a hole with all sorts of shapes on the bottom, fill it with water. It's flat because that's it. You can't have flat water, land, and then expect that land to finish the curve of the ball. That's ridiculous. The Earth has to curve. A round ball has to curve. The surface of the water has to curve at an even rate all the way around. Okay?
The surface of the water would never curve because the surface of the water
bottom of the ocean
never curves.
Look
Come
up,
on, man. We just said that the
you didn't
surface
listen
of
to
the
the
water
beginning.
always levels itself
You
out.
didn't
We just
listen
said
to the
that.
beginning. The abyssal plain.
Go ahead.
There's huge vast of ocean bottom called the abyssal plain. It's flat, just like the top of the water. It's flat. And there's the Bolivian salt flats if you don't want to use water.
Now the surface of the ocean is flat.
Are those 300 miles, Karen? The Bolivian salt flats?
I don't know, but it's
They're like 300 miles,
100.
and they're flat. They're absolutely flat. And then if it rains an inch of water, a couple inches of water, it covers the entire thing flat. Not a hump, flat. Okay? The Earth is flat. You got to deal with it. Let me just show you this picture I have here. I've just kind of changed the topic a little bit because we got to get away from
got
this
smoked
water.
on that one, yo.
Oh,
you got smoked on that one. Because you trying to say that the water would curve, but water never curves, bro. It always levels itself out. We just say that.
Exactly.
But the Earth's surface does.
Thank you.
The Earth's surface does. I'm not talking about water.
Y'all let him go.
Because y'all lost. Come on, man.
Exactly.
You're talking about the surface of the water, not the surface of the boat.
But look, here, listen. You spoke your part. Now it's their turn to speak their part.
I want to see what Bro Sanchez was about to show us.
Go ahead, Sanchez.
Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead and share the screen again.
Thank you so much. When he said that we can't see the curvature on the top, but we can see it on the bottom, to me, that's an excuse to explain why when we go to the ocean, we see water maintaining a flat level. So if I pour that water in a bowl, he's saying, yeah, you can see it on a flat level from the surface of the bowl, but swim down to the bottom and the container holding the water is curving, is what he's saying, if I'm not mistaken it. That would be a good argument, except for if you look at globe cosmology, they are saying not only is the water surface making a ball, when you swim down, there is no bowl creating. See what you're doing? This is why I said secretly, you're kind of giving flat Earth because if we could swim. Hold on, I'm gonna show you.
You're totally proving flat Earth.
There you are.
You got to hear me.
I love you guys' reverse psychology.
Let me. Please, I'm almost done. Watch this. If you look what you're saying, oh brother, why I'm saying that is because if I swim down to the bottom of flat Earth, since we're inside of a bowl, if you will, 3D bowl, then yeah, the water will curve at the bottom, but not at the top. So I'm saying on a flat Earth, your argument would actually be true. But on a globe, there is no container arching to hold that water. You would drill right to the Earth core and out the other side of the globe. So that's why it's called the abysmal plane, not the abysmal sphere, even though it's showing a sphere. And that's why it's called sea level and not sea curve, even though it's showing a curve. And then we get to the atmosphere, which is following this same shape as the ground, the water, and everything else. It won't change. Even when you get to the core of the Earth, they saying it's another ball in there. So you will never go down to what you're thinking. You think in flat earth, you got to come from off this image here and stay here. If we start going down into the ocean, we'll actually be going into the core, all that good stuff. But I don't know if you remember that they actually teach that, but I'm going to just put it up there for you.
Nice. So, Bro Sanchez, you teach a class, or how do people follow you? What do you do?
Yeah, you guys can go on Bro Sanchez TV. I'm live every Thursday, and sometimes in between that on my main channel and backup channel. You can go to brosanchez.com as well. And yeah, that's pretty much my main ways of how you can find me.
Okay, for those at home, we're going to have that link in the description. Also, you have links to David Weiss's YouTube channel, along with a link to the app. Definitely.
And they definitely going to come back, right, Sanchez?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely.
David is always yeah. David always go in.
Is there anything else?
Karen.
Anything else you guys want to add?
Karen, you got something to say?
We're going to go to the Super Chats real quick.
Yeah, let's hear the Super Chats. But Karen does a show tomorrow night. Tomorrow night she does a show with Mark Sargent called Strange World. At what time is that at, Karen?
That's at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Spheres.
Fun show.
Oh, okay. I heard she get nervous at the word spheres. I just kept saying it just to see.
Got to bring you back.
No, he was just teasing you.
Okay, I just was saying spheres just to see.
The last time he just couldn't stop with the spheres. Now he can't stop with what water's flat.
What about Shakespeare?
We know water's flat. The earth is flat. Shakespeare never existed.
I just love how it ties to astrology so much, because I already knew about astrology, and then when I learned about flat Earth, I'm like, well, this makes way more sense, because astrology didn't make that much sense with the balls model, but with the flat Earth model, I'm like, yo, this astrology makes a lot more sense. I can see how we'd be affected by these energies. If it's all about frequencies, I'm learning more about these seven heavens. That's what I'm going to be studying next.
Yeah, Mars is in retrograde, and I was like, the astrology is so stupid. That's 25 million miles away. How's that little rock that can't even affect the tides going to affect me? But then you realize that Mars is right here within the Earth system. It's electromagnetic. It's sentient, possibly, and it's part of who you are. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense. Astrologers that know the Earth is flat are way more powerful.
Yeah.
Astrologers.
You know what? I like to look at the sun, the moon, the stars, and all that as external organs. An extension of our very biology and all that. And that's what you're saying. I totally agree with that. Like, everything going on within us can be looked at in the is going on in the heavens, which is how we even get astrology. So that's deep, because the zodiac wheel is made like a carousel that the children play on, and you got all the animals going in a circle like the carousel and the zodiac wheel with the different animal, Libra and all them. So, yeah, I think this is a good bill. I love to be back because, and I'll end with this and I'll leave, right? Thank y'all for having me. But there's two aspects to flat Earth. You got flat Earth, which is answering questions like, why do we see the sun and moon at the same time? What's up with sea level? What the basic field question.
Everything that I said, yeah.
Right, and then you got ancient cosmology. I like to kind of separate them, because that's actually dealing more with the way the ancients said the universe, how they conceive the universe in totality. And I think we need to learn to kind of, well, y'all do, but most people need to learn to distinguish the two. But I'm out, guys, and I'll be glad to come back.
That was a shot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That was great.
That was like a kick out the door.
Nice.
Thanks,
that was good,
bro.
Thanks, bro. It's good to see you, bro. I haven't seen you for a while.
Oh, yeah, and David Weiss, man, it's time that we collab for an old time's sake. Salutes to everybody, especially Lord Jamar. Thank you for the love, the energy.
Yes, let's bring you back to the Godcast again.
I love listening to Bro when I'm doing stuff. Like if I go level and I'm working out, because he's always so angry, it makes me work out harder, and he just goes on and on and on. It's an endless flow of information. So I'm listening. I'm not always in the chat, but I'm listening.
Hey.
All right. Hey, much love, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Bro Sanchez.
And this image behind me, this is a snapshot of the app, the People Finder on the app, the Friend Finder. Flat Earth is growing. All these orange dots are new people within the last 60 days. So this is worldwide. Flat Earth is growing so fast. It's going to hit that tipping point. Don't be the last one to get on the Flat Earth bus because, it's
should
coming.
there be lines? Mm-hmm. Instead of dots, it should be lines.
They're spheres, actually. They're actually spheres. If you really zoom in, they're actual spheres.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then when you become a flat earther, you can come to my event and make all new flat Earth friends. Because I throw live events, I throw flat Earth conventions and conferences. Flattoberfest is my main event. FlatEarthFestivals.com is my website. If you go to FlatEarthFestivals.com, there's a whole bunch of links there to local meetups, and I do live events.
Flabrary.
You go flat, you never go back.
You said FlatEarthConference.com?
FlatEarthFestivals.com.
Gotcha. We'll put that in the description as well.
I'm going to contact you, Karen. I'm going to bring you back over here to the light.
Flabrary.
The light.
You bring me back anytime. I would love to come back.
Over here to the light. You need to come back on over here. I don't know what them brothers been telling you, but they've been telling you something wrong.
What's up, Vinny? All right, you guys.
I wanted to bring up one image
and run that motherfucker off. The fake smart motherfuckers. So that was my job.
Lord Jamar in the building. Yeah, what you about to say, Weiss?
If the Earth was a globe, how come we don't have any pictures of it? With all those millions of satellites or thousands of satellites up there in space missions, how come there's no photos of Earth? So
that's what I asked them.
So this is the blue marble. The only people that think this is real are globers. Not even NASA thinks this is real. NASA says they made it by taking
composite images.
The space shuttle. Yeah, it went by.
Space shuttle images.
Each time it goes by, it takes a picture, and then it comes around again. 90 minutes later, it comes up. It does the next one, right? And so it's going around and around, and it takes it, and then they wrap it all together. Well, here's the question: have you ever seen the clouds after 90 minutes? How do all these clouds wait for the thing to come around and line up? These would all be different pictures. All of these clouds would be moving. There would be, you would see the lines. So this is provably a composite painting. It's just a painting because none of these clouds would line up. Like this cloud right here, this is like 3 strips.
Does anybody have Photoshop? Does anybody have Photoshop?
I do.
Well,
So I don't know if it's the version that I have or if they all start like this. But when you buy Photoshop, the first example of like some shit to Photoshop, it's an outer space scene.
Right.
It's literally like you could put a planet and a fucking a rocket ship or some crazy shit. Like you could put all these fake graphics to make it look like
I need
a world. Like that's Photoshop. That's the first thing they teach you in Photoshop.
We're photoshopping an Earth here, and it came out better than NASA's Earth. This is 100% Photoshop, and it looks better than what NASA gives us. Right? And we don't get $65 million every single day.
Right.
Yep. I'm watching from here.
Cartoons.
So
have you seen the Flat Earth Simulator? Someone made a simulator game. Have you seen that? It's some type of game.
Earth Simulator.
It's a Flat Earth Simulator. It's like a game where you can explore all around the Flat Earth. You gotta check it out. Type in Flat Earth Simulator on Google when you get a chance. There's a whole program to it. I thought it was interesting. But somebody recreated it in a 3-dimensional way. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm getting ready to get out of here, Priest. David Weiss, man, I'd like to get you on my show as well if
anytime, man, reach out. Just hit me up, info@theflatearthpodcast.com, and we'll talk and get it going.
Yeah, that'll be dope.
I love it. Let's do it soon. I'm going to be tied up after the 22nd, so if you want to do it before then, let me know.
All right, cool. Yeah, we definitely could.
We got someone that says you can shoot radio waves 10,000 miles horizontally. This is completely impossible on a globe.
Tell them. But it's a whole bunch of things we don't want to.
too many proofs.
Yeah,
Too many things that says the Earth is flat, says that we're not moving. There's nothing that says we're spinning or curved.
You can go into the, you know what, it's a fun thing to do is go into the CIA reading room, the library with all the FOIA requests where they have all the Freedom of Information Act stuff where you can search and just type in flat, non-rotating Earth and see how many NASA documents and military documents come up that say that all military actions, all firing tables are laid out on a flat, non-rotating Earth. They just dismiss it. They don't even take into account with satellites or anything that the Earth is moving or that there's any Earth curvature. Everything is assumed on a flat, non-rotating Earth.
Tons. It's a flat, non-rotating Earth. NASA documents, not that you believe NASA, the FAA, CIA documents, all about a flat, non-rotating Earth.
Yo, but now that we know this, we're literally connected to the outside realm. It's as above, so below. As within, so without. The macrocosm is connected to the microcosm. We're in a fractal universe. Everything is fractal.
Think about a pregnant woman laying flat on her back. She has the baby inside her stomach, and it has fluid around it, has water around it. You know, again, life is always inside the egg. The baby's not growing on the outside of her. The amniotic fluid is not on the outside of the stomach. It's on the inside. There is nowhere in nature where that happens, where there's some sort of liquid that forms to the outside of a circle. Let's just say that in all cases, life is inside the egg, not outside. That's all. Let's just admit that. Can we admit that?
Yes, sir.
No, we can't.
KP, there was a couple
He said, no, we can't. Now,
can I build on what you just said?
Huh?
Now, build on what you just said. Now, what you just said is, I'll give you an example. Let me ask you a question. On an apple, right? On the skin of an apple, right?
Here we go.
Does the skin of the apple have moisture inside of it?
Moist?
Have moisture inside of it.
Said moist.
What are you talking about? What does that have to do with anything?
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Let
me finish what I'm saying.
Is it the skin of the apple that has the moisture, or is it the apple, the skin coming in contact with the moist meat of the apple? Which one is it? Do you know for sure?
Yes, I do know.
Or you just trying to be fake smart?
I'm not trying to be
now.
fake smart. I'm being real with you. The skin of the apple has moisture in it, correct? So let me finish what I'm saying. So being that the skin of the apple has moisture in it, does that moisture that's on the skin of the apple fall off the surface of the apple?
It's not on the surface. It's inside the fibers. It's not on the surface. See, that's tricknology. I don't like bullshit like this. Stop coming with fucking retarded ass arguments.
How's that retarded? How's that retarded?
Wet the fucking apple with water and see if the water sticks to the outside. Is the skin have water and it does have moisture? Come on, man. Stop with these stupid ass arguments, man. Because it's disingenuous. I don't like shit like this.
How's it disingenuous?
Come on.
I just asked you a simple question. Does the skin of an apple have moisture in it?
You're not that stupid.
You can't be this stupid. You
cannot be this stupid.
You guys sound stupid as hell. I'm not gonna lie to you. Anytime you go sit here and tell me that you're looking at the surface of water instead of the actual surface of the earth itself, you sound dumb as hell because you already know that water always levels itself out. So I don't even know how you would use that as an argument. That's retarded.
This is why I had
I did participate.
Last time. Because I can't talk to people like this. Like when you're just saying retarded shit like this, I gotta go. Yo, priest, I love you, God. You know what I mean? I appreciate you, David White, Karen.
Lord, hit me up. Hit me up, Lord.
I absolutely will. AD.
All right, Lord Jamar.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Peace.
Yes, sir. And fuck Minister Freedom.
All right.
David, what were you gonna show us?
I was gonna. I don't think I was gonna say anything, but there were some super chats that I was hoping you'd read.
Yeah. I think you saw them here. Hold on a second. Boom, 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 boom. Everything's all okay. I'll take it from the top. We're gonna go backwards here. If I shoot a laser 30 miles, If I shoot a laser 30 miles over water, it should get blocked by hundreds of feet of Earth curvature in the water. Yet it reaches the other side. Let's see. Shannon says, "Brother Sanchez, do you think that the 7 dimensions are ruled by different planets? And let's try not to be so resistant to different theories and ideas." That was a good question, though. Walter Edwards says, "Respect means to look again. Peace to the gods." Fella B says, "It says in the Bible, all shall see me at the end days. That can only work on flathead Earth. That's impossible on a globe. I live in the outer plane." John Doe says, "Killah, Priest, big fan. Thank you for your art. Can you talk a little about your astral projection out-of-body experiences?"
That'll be on another day.
Yeah.
Just listen to the music.
Yeah. Tall Guy says, "Jamar saw that Tahuti wasn't coming on, so he felt safe showing up on that short bus-ish. Tahuti ran you up off here the first time."
Tahuti, I was speaking to Tahuti. He just actually hit me up.
Nice. Yeshua says, "Fam, easy to disagree without showing and proving." I'm not sure what side he's on by saying that. You can shoot radio. Okay, we said that already. The guests overestimate Rasul's and Menkempero's attention span and intellect. They're not interested or actually incapable of learning. Shout out to Richard. Shout out to Melanie. Terrell says, "What science equipment and or data being used to prove the flat Earth theory? Why are they keeping this a secret from the masses?" That's a common question, which can be answered in David's app.
Yes, you hit the why the lie. There's some great videos there, entertaining, informative, and mind-blowing. But it's all about control. I mean, they're hiding free energy. They're hiding who we are. They're hiding the creator. They're hiding your true potential. They're keeping you a slave. They're hiding more land. They're hiding freedom.
You're a battery.
Well, and I think also, too, that they lie to you about the creation to disconnect you from it. They want to disconnect you from the creation and the creator, because if you're disconnected from the creation and the creator, then you will absolutely never know who you are and you will never reach your full potential in this realm. So I think that's the number one reason why they lie about it, because if they disconnect you from that, they can lie to you about everything because your compass is completely lost from the beginning. Sorry,
and
go ahead.
The fraud known as Elon Musk, he's getting us to Mars because we have to build a civilization on Mars. Why don't we just build a civilization in Ethiopia? Okay, build a dome there. We already have air supply lines. We don't have to send everything to Mars. It's all there, but $65 million a day NASA gets, and we have children starving to death all over this world. A fraction of NASA's budget can solve many problems here, but it's all about control. It's all about depopulation. It's all about keeping us as slaves. That's why anybody that is fighting against the truth of our world, the waking up of people, is fighting to keep us slaves, to keep us in this prison for your mind. Right, this is literally a prison for your mind, and those of you that are fighting to keep it, you are so lost in the matrix. You have become the problem. You've become agents. If you want to really, you had your matrix. The woman that wrote the Matrix. It's my favorite analogy. People are plugged into the matrix. They believe they live on a ball. They believe that we're running out of water. We're running out of food. We're running out of fuel. That global warming is man-made. It's a real thing. You believe in nuclear bombs. You believe in all of this fear-based stuff that keeps you a slave. Then look at Neo at the end of the movie. He's unplugged. He figures out who he is, where he is, what he is, and the power of his mind. Put those two Neos together, the one at the beginning of the movie and the one at the end of the movie. Flat Earthers are the Neo at the end of the movie. Globers are the Neo at the beginning of the movie. Wake the fuck up, people. And there's no time left. Time to wake up.
And it's going to take time. We have to be compassionate to these people who are new to this information.
All of time, because we ain't going for it. See, first of all, you got to understand something. Everything in life that gives life is round.
Yes.
Testicles are round. A baby inside of a mother's womb is round.
Well, if you're paying attention, to all of our depictions of the ancient universe, the universe is round. We're just inside
that
of it.
has life or gives life is round.
That's why the dome is
round.
No, the whole
That's
earth
why the dome is round.
Is round. Our heads
round like a plate.
Round.
Now, don't forget
the surface of water. The surface of water is flat, right? The surface of the ocean is flat, not round.
Our own auras are round.
The bottom of
in the human
ocean
as a human being
is round. The surface
our auras
of water is always
expanded.
flat.
We are walking spheres. Our auras are spheres, and that's why our dome is a sphere. That's why the seventh heaven thing is so crazy, because it's 7 circles. It's 7 spheres. It's beautiful.
We got more super chats.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting all excited. This is great. Right. I learned some stuff today. This is great. Okay. Awesome. It's deeper than flat Earth. Flat Earth is just a portion. The secret is gamma radiation and DNA. That's all I'm gonna say. Wow. Gamma radiation. Question everything says, ask Ment what would happen if you poured water in that apple, then spun the apple around. Okay, and
Can I answer that?
Sure, go ahead.
Well, who said that? Question everything.
Question everything.
So if you put water right on a apple and you spent it inside of, say for instance, an atmosphere that we live in, the water, because of gravity, is going to spin off. And that's because of the atmosphere and wind and things of that nature. But when you live in a ball that's in a vacuum.
But wait, don't we live in that atmosphere?
Let me finish.
But we live in that atmosphere that you just said would cause the water to fall off the ball, and we live in that atmosphere.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. But when you live on a ball, there's a vacuum over it. The molecules stay magnetically pulled to the Earth's surface because the Earth is magnetic.
Can you show me that in a lab?
I can.
Oh, you can? You can show me how water will stick to an apple inside a vacuum chamber?
Correct.
You know the water boils in a vacuum?
I'd pay good money to see that.
Okay. How much would you pay?
Water boils in a vacuum?
Not enough to fund your experiment. I know that.
You know that water boils in a vacuum. I guess you didn't know that. You know what sucks is it's going to take me all day to edit out all of the idiotic statements that you made and make a short clip. I'm going to make a short reel of all of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. It's going to be amazing, but it's going to take me all fucking day.
We got to be compassionate because
I know, but I love them. I love it.
It took me a year. I know, because it's just like when you break out the matrix.
My question. You still ain't answered my question.
I just don't understand how something will work differently in the atmosphere that we live in, except for the atmosphere that we live in.
You still ain't answered my question. You guys are using the surface of the water to prove that there is no curvature when the surface of the water will never curve. But
exactly.
The floor of the earth, which the water sits upon, does curve.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
why
it goes
is
up
the
and
land
down.
at the other side of the ocean? Why is the land at the other side of the ocean at the same height? Why is the land at the other side of the ocean at the same height as the land where I'm looking from?
Who says it at the same height?
Because we can see it. We sent a laser to it. Karen did it. We used a laser. It was just a couple feet over the surface of the water, and we hit the land.
Where did you particularly do this at? Did you do this on all 4 corners of the earth?
So corners. Where's the corners on the globe?
Meaning, like, did you do this from America to? Did you do this from America to Europe? Did you do it from America to Africa? Did you do it from Africa to India? Did you do it from Australia to China? Did you do it from China to Japan? Did you do it from China to Taiwan? I mean, come on now.
Why do Globers
just because you do it on one person of Earth, like, look, that's over there.
Why
that's
do you guys
perfect.
think
Don't mean it's like that the whole coast of Earth.
You can't even see down the end of a hallway, and you think you can see across an ocean?
Are flat. He thinks that there's areas.
First of all,
the earth,
the water of the earth is too choppy for you to even see that. It's too many storms and things like that happen that changes the sea level of the earth for you to even see that. So I don't even know why you even think that's an argument.
What about
you can't pinpoint
lake?
over the surface of the earth, because the surface of the earth, as far as the water in the ocean, is always changing because of storms and things. How many people go out there in the ocean, as I have, and actually see waves and things of that nature, and see that actually the ocean itself constantly changes its shape. So how could you take a laser beam? Hold on, let me finish. How could you take a laser beam and shoot it over the surface of something that's always changing? You guys don't sound too smart when you say that.
Okay, so have you heard of the Bolivian salt flats? It's a flat. It's like 300 miles wide. And when it rains,
but that's not the whole
like
Earth, though. You're just talking about believing in salt flake. That's not the whole Earth.
Hold on. So when it rains, there's like 3 inches of water, and it's flat all the way across. You know how much curvature there should be at 300 miles? Do you know how much curvature there should be at 300 miles?
I have a curvature chart.
You're still just using one part of the Earth to make your claim.
Well, let me ask you this. How many flat spots are on a sphere? How many flat spots are on a sphere?
How many? It should be 11 miles.
How many flat spots are on how many flat faces are on a sphere?
There is no flat. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There is no flat spots.
Exactly,
on this
but
rock.
we measure flat surfaces over water all the time. So what's going on there?
So there's basically no curvature anywhere.
You're measuring over flat water that's made itself flat, but you're not actually measuring over the surface of the Earth. You're measuring over water, not the Earth itself.
Two-thirds of the Earth's surface is water.
It's just
is it
balancing
not?
itself out. It's not
on a flat plane.
No,
it's
crazy, right?
The Earth is covered by 2/3 of water, right?
Look at the actual bottom of the Earth.
I want to share my screen.
Earth is covered by 2/3 of water, is it not?
Are you sharing the screen?
I want to share
So then 2/3 of the Earth's surface is water. So why is that not? Why are we not allowed to measure 2/3 of the
You're
Earth's
using
surface?
the actual surface of the Earth. You're using water, and water always levels itself out. We just spoke on that.
Unbelievable.
I want to share my screen real quick.
This is hilarious, Dave.
Can you guys see my screen?
Retarded.
Can you guys see my screen? Okay, so this is what we all go through when you find out.
Yeah,
because this is exactly because it's a Matrix theme today.
I didn't say it would be easy.
You will go through this.
Who's that right there?
This is your mind on flat Earth.
No, it's the reverse. That's you and Dave and all y'all. That's you and Dave and Karen and there. That's how y'all are. That's not us. That's y'all.
No, you guys are a cipher. You guys are like eating the steak like, I want the Matrix to tell me my steak is juicy.
70% of the Earth is flat water, but the Earth is a ball. Okay.
Yeah, but we have to give everyone respectfully. It's not time for everyone to unplug. Morpheus didn't go around handing out a bunch of red pills. Flat Earth isn't for everyone because the truth isn't for everyone. This type of knowledge is pretty damn deep, and if the mind isn't ready for this type of frequency of depth, it's fine. It can happen later. It can happen never. We all have to follow our path.
It would never happen.
It's just like we respect everyone's religion. We respect all religions. Everyone's going through their own spiritual path, and even this type of knowledge, as true as it is, and as hard as we try to explain it, it's not for everybody. And we're not trying to recruit people. This is not a multi-level marketing scheme. We get no credit. David gets no check for anyone who becomes a flat earther. Although the app is a great place to start if you're looking.
I get $2. I get $2 for everybody that buys the app.
But everyone who gets the app can basically get some answers questions if you even want to go down this route. We still
and you
respect.
Can find flat Earth friends right near you. Have you used the friend finder to find any people?
We gotta give
No.
It's amazing.
We got to give Vinny some props too.
Shout out Vinny.
Vinny brought this together, and you brought brother Sanchez.
You brought him in last minute during the show right there.
So Sanchez, I've been trying to get Sanchez. He's a busy dude. For people who don't know, he's got a huge following. He's pretty deep. Like Dave mentioned, the shows go for seems like half a day or something, and he could have 20 guests on at the same time. Killah whenever you want. Let's get him on, so he could have his own thing like Dave. Shout out Lord Jamar was awesome. Yo, also Sophia, man. I was wishing
Lord
she
Jamar.
stayed on.
Yeah.
But to add to the Sophia thing, definitely transgenderism was how I seen it. And to me, all it was basically making it like Neo wasn't the special one. Now it's Trinity, the woman. And that's basically what I keep seeing in everything is that the women are now the men and the men are now women. And the Matrix 4 was the same thing to me. Another perfect example of taking it away as a man, and now it's the woman.
I think those pills he was taking were hormone pills.
The what?
Those pills he was taking, you know the part where they dropped all the blue pills in the thing? I think those were hormone pills.
It could be, and Sophia brought up a lot of good points, with the transgender.
It's trying to change itself over.
Yeah, like estrogen pills and shit.
Not taking the red pill no more.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple more super chats here.
I wanted to say one other thing too, real quick, that I wrote down. The show that I mentioned when we talked about NASA, and I told, because I got a lot of people who asked me about it, was I talked about if you look at the names of all the NASA missions, it's literally telling you a story, and it goes, a Colombian enterprise to endeavor for the discovery of Atlantis, and the Challenger shall be destroyed.
Damn.
That's literally what all the missions were from NASA. Again, these are Masonic rituals. This is nothing real. This isn't real science.
Say that again.
Yeah.
You just blew AD away. What happened? What just happened?
I'm gonna type.
You break them down, right? You know, Columbia, Enterprise, and if you put them all in order, it says a Colombian enterprise. You should all know Columbia, right? Like the District of Columbia, what it means to them, Diana. A Colombian enterprise to endeavor for the discovery of Atlantis, and all challenges shall be destroyed. Okay? So that's, again, this is all esoteric.
I like it.
And, so I wanted to add that. I forgot to add that last time I was on the show.
You come up with that, Vinny?
Well, yeah.
Dude.
I mean, I've been talking about it for a while, and I remembered to write it down this time.
That was really good.
You got to talk to Effed Up World. You know Effed Up World?
Yes.
Yeah, you should talk to him about that. You two put your heads together. You'll probably come up with some good stuff.
That was good.
Yeah, I'm down to talk to anyone, even the audience. Shout out to the audience, the great chat. People email me. I'll talk to anyone. Vinny, DBA Truth at Gmail. I'm willing to share any type of information with anybody and talk. The one last thing I wanted to add to this was just a few weeks ago in the Times records in UK, and it's been going around, they're talking about the NASA program, societal implications of astrobiology, and they have a bunch of priests, one of them being a Jesuit priest, and this is where NASA is now doing a study about what it's going to be like for everybody in the religions when they announce that aliens are coming. The thing we've been talking about, it's gearing up even more. They're reporting it, and again, it's the Vatican and the Jesuit priests behind this. And just wanted to throw that out there too. People go look it up. This is literally the church is getting ready to announce aliens are coming, and they are also behind Big Bang, heliocentrism, and all this other stuff.
Which goes on to Project Bluebeam, which goes down a whole other rabbit hole.
Project Bluebeam, Operation Paperclip, where we took all the Nazi scientists, Wernher von Braun. Go look at his tombstone. I mean, Wernher von Braun, the rocket scientist, and with NASA, why on his tombstone is it a quote from the Bible that talks about the firmament and the dome?
Psalms 19:1.
Thank you, Karen. And pleasure meeting Karen for the first time.
You too.
Karen gave a new name to Karen.
Karen B.
Karen B. Yeah, that's my channel name. That's what I go by, Karen B.
What's going to happen February 22nd this year, though? 2022.
That'll be the second month or second day. Oh, man.
February 22nd. That's like a key day that they could do something. I don't know.
How about this? They're turning on the 5G on 1/19.
What?
Yeah. Really?
911.
Oh, shit. This month, then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So
the big 5G network is supposed to go live on the 1/19.
So we have to check for patterns on that day of who knows what. Let's just say
people dropping dead in the street, maybe.
Wow.
Yo. So we'll pay attention to that day, 1/19. That's 9 days away. That is on a Wednesday. So we'll have to talk about it on the podcast.
Yo, yeah, definitely.
Like this
That'd
happened
be crazy.
today. Yep.
But you said if they turn it on 5G, when? I'm T-Trump.
The 19th.
1/19 of this month. 9 days away from now.
Oh, okay.
Today's the
10th. But they... Oh, man. Well, it would be... That's crazy. All right. So, man, it was a great... It was a great build. It was a great build. Dave Weiss...
We still got a couple more super chats.
All right, let's get the super chats.
I can run through them. I can run through them real quick.
Dave Weiss. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay. Would there be a curve if we could actually go to the end of the Earth? I mean, beyond the walls.
Are you trying to curve the question? Nobody. Thank you for getting that. Nobody get my
He's saying
no curve.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no curve. Okay, so y'all asked him to put an apple in a vacuum chamber, but y'all don't got a scale on the flat map to show distance that you can prove in real life. Y'all not being fair. I can say that.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
All maps are flat and
Yeah.
show distances on a flat Earth, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you can see lighthouses from way further than you should, according to their math. Okay,
Right. On a flat Earth, the horizon is optical. On a globe Earth, it's physical. Well, we have an optical horizon.
Yep. Okay, question. Everything says, Brother Menk, from outer space, the water would look like a diving board off the side of the Earth. What you're saying makes no sense. Darth says, this is a sympathy donation. Y'all have extremely high tolerance dealing with these flat brainers. Also, Priest, your hoodie is cool as fuck.
Is that your best globe proof? Calling us flat brainers? I mean, that literally. wait, that actually might be their best proof. Thinking about it.
Insults is the way to go for them.
Wizit
got
says
nothing else.
Wizit says the surface of the water can't be flat if the Earth is a sphere. Basic geometry. We falsified the globe Earth radius. Welcome to flat Earth, homie. That's from Wizit.
But with it, you're not measuring the Earth below the ocean. That's what curves.
We've got Melanie says, Menk, do you think we went to the moon in a tinfoil tweaker box?
Yeah, it's got aluminum tape. It's got some, maybe some tarps taped to it. It's definitely, some special technology.
Yep. Question, everything says, prove gravity. Nyasha says, we are going on a trip on our favorite rocket ship. I am not quite a flat earther, but we do have to admit something's fishy going on. The images that we see from the space station never looked real. That's from Nyasha. Level says, Lord Jamal said he'd rather have questions he can't answer than answers he can't question, but in order to prove your theory, y'all literally had to remove the opposition from the conversation. Wizit says, so NASA, the only agency in the government not lying? Cool story, bro. Let's see. We did that one already. I think we got everything. If I missed y'all.
Dave, where's your cool story, bro glasses?
Right here.
Yeah, we need those. Man.
I don't know how he does that. Yeah. I tried to do it myself on my end. I thought it was like a filter.
Yeah,
it doesn't come with OBS. I don't know what he's using.
It's Zoom. It's in Zoom.
Oh, it's in Zoom?
Yeah, just go to your background filters, and then instead of virtual backgrounds, click video filters.
Okay.
To the right.
Okay, nice.
For the chat room, we was having tea throughout. So next time we have a, I usually
what happened to the tea ceremony?
Yeah, exactly. We was just going through. I mean, it got so crazy and intense. We just was drinking tea as it go along. We just went to it. But next time we're gonna have the announcement and the tea ceremony. But this just got crazy, so it was all over the place. So we hope y'all been drinking your tea as we went on, and it's a good good feeling.
That's great.
Good tea.
What kind of tea did you have today?
Today we had matcha.
All right. Yeah. Matcha last time was on. I had a lemon ginger.
Yeah, matcha man.
Nice.
Yeah, lemon and ginger. Yeah, exactly. Word.
I like ginger turmeric.
Oh, yeah. Turmeric used to put me to sleep, but I realized after a while that it's actually it's really good for you.
Yes, very good. Anti-inflammation.
And during all of that flat water nonsense, I ate a 5 milligram gummy.
Hey, that put you to sleep and wake you up at the same time.
Oh, you be messing with the gummies, Dave?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm never going to get to sleep tonight. I'm going to take one of those.
Oh, man. You got the cool glasses on, man. For real.
What state are you in, David?
I'm in Connecticut.
A peaceful
nice.
state.
Yeah, state of insanity.
Oh, man.
Word. Nice. All right, man. We want to thank y'all. We want to thank y'all for coming. And that was, we got to definitely do this again.
Hey, KP, don't let your friends bring you down. You know what the truth is. Hold.
They got me.
Stand in your truth, man. Don't let your friends bring you down that don't understand that water is level like the earth.
Right.
I told Priest, even if he becomes a flat earther, he has to act like he's not sure for the sake of marketing.
It's a flat. Well, you just told everybody.
All you have to say, why would you tell everybody? All you have to say is I have a problem with the globe.
Is Mojito a flat earth? Well, okay. Who's my favorite guy? What's his name? That General was it Abner?
Admiral Byrd.
Admiral Byrd.
Yeah, mysterious Admiral Byrd. You guys are crazy, man.
And
Admiral Byrd.
Admiral Byrd. His name flies around here.
Dave, do you have a .com that you direct people to?
Anybody got a photo of this guy?
You know, anybody that wants to book me, find my podcast, or find direct links to the app, flatearthdave.com. flatearthdave.com. That'll bring you there.
All right, link's going to be in description. Just want to make sure.
Just for everybody, the app's $3. If you're unsure about it, just go read the reviews in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Everyone loves it. They got the friend finder on there is amazing. The friend finder, to send messages, you have to subscribe. It's $11 for the year, but don't subscribe. Just don't send messages. I don't want to hear it.
What you selling the truth for, man? I thought it should supposed to be free. The information.
Yeah, well, you know what? You want to pay the monthly bill for the app, feel free, because it's not cheap.
Karen, come back to the light.
Yeah.
Listen,
come back.
Once you go flat,
the app's
you
only
never
for
go
people
back.
that want to find truth and want to have a good tool to wake up people with. It's good. It's a great tool when you're with people. Hey,
I'm actually, I gotta say, I'm selfish with the knowledge, because at first I learned all this stuff and I wanted to tell everybody. And then now as I get older, I'm like, I can see why secret societies exist. Because who cares? Like, I got to know this. I don't care if anyone else knows or not.
You're like, hey, I'm smarter than these sheeple. Fuck them, right?
I just want to learn more.
That's the attitude.
I'm in input mode. I want to find out about those 7 heavens. I want to get to that. I'm already trying to move on to the next level. Okay, like, all right, I know flat Earth. Tell me how this affects me. How can we use this? How can we get bigger with this?
Exactly.
How
That's the beautiful part. That is the beautiful part about flat Earth. When you shed away all those lies and you start to see through all the bullshit, and you're like, oh, this place is way cooler than they've been telling us.
Yeah. And then there's other things we can use and becoming optimal. Do you know what I'm saying?
There's more science show to the Earth being round than there is to the Earth being
there
flat.
There is zero science to the Earth being round.
More technology has been created off of round things than just flat things. Especially when you're talking about energy and motion.
Flat.
Question, everything, the answer to your question is in the description. You can click on the link to submit music.
All right, yo.
Cars.
All right, guys. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Cherry.
Thanks for having us.
Great job.
Keep it flat, people, and, stand in your truth.
All right.
Thank you, David.
Man. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen B.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure meeting you all.
Hey.
Thank you, Vinny. Good job tonight.
Thanks, Vinny. Thanks for setting it up.
Thanks, Vin.
Thanks, guys.
FlatEarthFestivals.com if you want to come meet flat earthers in real life.
Where's it at? It's going to be held at Arizona?
Well,
it's flat out there.
If y'all have one in Vegas, I'm going to come to the one in Vegas.
I've been having them in South Carolina.
I've been having them in South Carolina because I live over here, but I'm thinking about having them other places too. Greenville, South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina area.
Okay. No, I know cats out there that way.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a great time. You guys should come hang out with us.
It's super fun.
Well, happy Gregorian New Year.
All right.
It's getting weird.
I was going to add my own crickets to that one.
Then there's that awkward moment.
Yeah. I mean, it's a New Year, but I call it the Gregorian New Year because, the real New Year is March 22nd. All right.
All right, y'all.
All right, guys. I'm out. See ya.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Yo.
You all love the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. The best tool to show your friends and strangers how the Flat Earth actually works. But are you ready for a Flat Earth app game changer? A new feature has been added. But first, a reminder of some of the existing features. Video of the day. World time. See what time it is all around the flat Earth. A true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add a countdown to your next big date. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth. Top 21 frequently asked questions with quick pop-up video answers. Access to the best photos and GIFs at your fingertips. Flat Earth books and merchandise and more. Now, the game-changer upgrade we've always dreamed of having. After a year in development, our app just went next level. You're now able to find Flat Earth app users near you. See where they are and send them an instant message in the app. Instantly arrange for a Flat Earther meetup. When activated, blue dots mark the location of the app users near you. You have 3 choices on showing your location. PP, to pinpoint. This marks your exact location. CC, for city center, which will place you within a few miles of your current location. Or turn off, which removes you from the map altogether. Use it when traveling, or when you're out for a day at the beach, or while eating out somewhere. Find out where other Flat Earthers are and connect. Find like-minded Flat Earth app users and regain your sanity. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our Flat Earth actually works.